All right, good evening, everyone. Can everybody see my screen and hear me okay? If you could just type in the chat box, yes, that would be fantastic. Yes, great. Thank you, Ivor. Thank you, Chad. Dan, thank you. Thank you, Bernard. All right, so before we get started, where's everybody from? If you could just type that in the chat box, that would be awesome. Where's everybody from? Australia, great. Great. Welcome, Ivor from Australia. Thomas from Baldwinsville, New York. Welcome. Bernard. Hi, Bernard. Welcome from Oakville, very close by. Joseph Addy from New Jersey. Welcome, Joseph. Chad from Denver, Colorado. Welcome, Chad. Bill Barak from Ohio. Welcome, Bill. And Mr. Walker from Australia. Welcome. Welcome, gang. Okay, I'm glad you all could join me tonight. We're just going to have a few people coming into the meeting, so my team's going to be letting them in as we get started here. We've got about 21 participants on so far, and we're expecting a few more. But let's get started, gang. So thanks for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is our first official webinar for Systematic Investors Group. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. We're going to share some stuff with you that you probably have not seen anywhere else. That sounds like a bold statement, but it's really not. So just thanks for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get started in a few minutes. We'd like to ask that maybe you hold questions until the very end if possible, after the presentation is finished. If you have questions that can be answered in the chat as we go along, feel free to post them and my team will try to respond back to you in the chat window. Otherwise, write your questions down and any questions will be handled verbally when we do the answering session at the very end. Alrighty, so let's formally get started, gang. Hey everyone, welcome to the webinar. This is Dave and today I'm going to show you how to finally achieve consistency and success trading or investing with a new systematic approach that you can execute in less than 5 to 10 minutes each day without having to get overly complicated. You won't have to learn math, you won't have to learn coding, and you won't have to hire a programmer. In fact, you won't have to be super technical in any way. Does this sound like something that you all would like? Okay, so sorry for the disclaimers at the start, everyone, but it needs to be said. Trading and investing can contain significant financial risks. This presentation and all references are subject to the disclaimers as posted on our website at www.systematic-investors.com. Please take a moment to visit and read through the disclaimers on our website before considering use of any of our services. All traders and self-directed investors are always responsible for managing their own risk and making their own final decisions. So please use all information presented at your own risk. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you, this is probably not your first webinar. The first thing I want to mention is that if you failed at trading or investing in the past, it's not your fault. There's a lot of information and misinformation out there. It can be confusing and keep you from achieving success. It's okay. If you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed in the markets, I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this. I almost gave up as well. You just need the right person to explain it to you and the right information. The financial media and 95% of the educators in this industry want you to think that you need to follow their advice for their trading approach and their way is the only way. I'm here to tell you they're wrong. And frankly, they're mostly full of crap. They have their own reasons for wanting you to think that, but it's just not true. And a lot of the information is just not accurate. If you've ever thought that the big corporate hedge funds and banks actually want to see you fail, you're probably right. They're like sharks and you're the fish food. They don't benefit from you succeeding. In fact, many of them prey off of you and keep you coming back with just enough hope in order to do it again and again so that they profit from your losses. The difference with us is that we're like you, independent, do-it-yourself traders and investors, and we actually care about your success. We truly want to see you living the life of your dreams, or at least living a life without financial stress and without broken trading dreams. We want to see you living a life of abundance and zero frustration. So that's what we're here for, and hopefully that's why you're here. I know you want to end the frustration. I know you have a dream to stop losing and start making money. You want to finally crack the code to the markets. You want to figure out how all this trading and investing stuff works. I know you have a dream to change your world and make an impact on your future and your family's future, and I want to show you how to make that happen during this webinar. My goal for this presentation is to help two types of people. For those who are beginners, I want to set you off on the right path so that you don't make all the mistakes that we all make when doing this on our own. I want to guide you to the top of your mountain. I'm here to convince you that systematic strategies are the way forward and the proper way to approach trading and investing for most people. I want to show you that if you just apply what you learn here, you can be a successful trader or an investor in just a few minutes each day. For those that are more experienced, perhaps you're still a struggling day trader, swing trader, or maybe a long-term investor, a fundamental analyst, a technical analyst, or perhaps you've tried everything and just can't seem to put it all together. Maybe you're ready to give up. Perhaps you already have and are just here out of morbid curiosity. I want to show you that there is a new, better way, that there's a viable path to consistency and success. I want to show you that path. You can totally put aside what you've been doing, take a deep breath, and set out on this new path together. Today I want to show you that even though the underlying concepts may seem complicated, that it won't be for you because we've done all the hard work for you. There are people like myself and others that I'll introduce you to today within the Systematic Investors Group community that enjoy doing the more complicated stuff so that you don't have to. It's like driving a car. There's a lot going on under the hood, but you don't have to understand how it all specifically works in order to effectively drive the car from point A to your final destination. But you do need to understand some key things that we teach on the inside. Now, my goal for this webinar is that you all understand the truth about trading and investing. And these truths are, number one, the only way for you to become consistently profitable, at least for more than 95% of the traders and investors out there, is by having a systematic strategy and taking a systematic approach. Why? Well, because consistent processes lead to consistent outcomes. And most traders aren't profitable because they don't have a consistent process. The irony is that they're consistently unprofitable because they have an inconsistent process. And number two, the best way and easiest way to become a consistent systematic trader or a consistent systematic investor is with the Systematic Investors Group community. Now I've got a few gifts for you all. If you stay until the end and are one of the first 10 to join our systematic community, I'll give you a free coupon code worth $500 off. This gives you access to our Done For You service where we get you all set up with all the strategies and other cool stuff that you need to succeed. We totally remove all of your technology blocks and hassles. So the coupon will make the Done For You service free of charge. But I don't want to limit this just to people who decide to join our paid community today. I also want to provide some great value for everyone as a way to thank you for spending your time with us. We've developed a couple of cool but free active strategies that have both back-tested profitably over the past 20 years. So I'll tell you how you can get access to these free trading ideas before the market opens every day. We call these strategy scans. And I'm going to give you all of this for free just for staying until the end. Even better, I'll also give you access to our free backtesting mini course so that you can understand the basics of how to evaluate any strategy out there to see if it's right for you. Just stick around until the end and it's all yours. So guys and gals, listen up. Please turn off your phones, your Facebook, shut down your social media, your Skype, everything. I promise this webinar can change your life, but if you're not paying attention to it, it won't help you at all. So if you can remove all distractions for the next 60 minutes or so, it'll be time well spent for both you and I. And don't worry, I won't be yelling at you like this dude would. Now, you'll find that Systematic Investors Group, we do things a little bit differently than most of the trading sites that you're probably used to. We're less about gurus and more about good trading systems. We're focused on data-driven trading and investing processes. Anybody can claim to be a guru, but numbers and data speaks for itself. So my name is Dave DeMarcantonio. I've been a long-term student of the market since late 2006. Like many of you, I've tried just about everything. I actually placed my first trades back in the dot-com era when online brokerages like E-Trade started to become a thing. I'm an independent do-it-yourself investor in both financial markets, and I do invest in real estate as well. I'm active in network in my local trading and technical analysis communities. I've run, attended, and helped set up a number of different trading-related meetings and groups over the years. From meetups starting back in 2011, when I ran my own small trading room for independent traders, until about 2014, to organized monthly meetings focused on technical analysis and my role as chapter head for a local Society of Technical Analysts group for 3 years. I was also on the board of directors of the CSTA for about 2 years and continue to remain active in that local CSTA group. I spent a solid 3 years from 2011 to 2014, just about every day with other traders when the trading floor was open. I continue to belong to and network with other local trading and investing groups in my area. The key point I'd like to impress on you all is that I'm in touch with traders and investors all the time, and I understand the struggles of both short-term traders and long-term investors quite well. Now, as Jay-Z says, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You might also recognize that guy there on the right. He's a pretty good investor. He's done well for himself. Now, I really did things the hard way. I took the long road to figure out the right way to do this. But can you guys imagine what it would be like to shortcut all of the mistakes? Can you imagine what it would be like already starting out with a verified and quantified trading strategy working for you tomorrow and every day beyond that? Imagine if you just had the right systematic strategies working for you. Imagine if you had a process in place that you could trust, taking trades for you without you having to sweat about whether you're making the right decisions, just putting in the work day in and day out. A process that totally removed the analysis paralysis and second guessing so that you could act with confidence. How cool would that be? How stress-free and easy would that make your trading and investing life? Okay, I know we had to show a bunch of boring disclaimers at the beginning, but here's a more informal earnings disclaimer. Trading and investing is awesome and truly is one of the greatest paths to success in making a bunch of money. In fact, even if your goal isn't to make a bunch of money, you probably have already realized that you need to do something so that you don't lose to inflation. Why? Well, because if you just let your money sit in the bank, it loses value every day, especially when governments are printing so much money every week now. Ray Dalio of Bridgewater Associates recently was quoted at the Davos meeting saying, "Cash is trash." Literally, he said that cash is trash. That you don't want to hold cash, and neither do the central banks nor financial system. They're making conditions such that they want to encourage owning assets like stocks. And guess what? They make the markets move, not little guys like you or I. You have to put your cash to work somehow. If you've been at this for more than a minute, you already know that it's not without challenges from time to time, am I right? How many of you here have had challenges already with trading or investing? How many struggled through the recent coronavirus sell-off? Okay, I don't want to BS you guys, so let me just say that trading and investing is not get rich quick, but you can do quite well over time. It is a process toward building long-term success and wealth. It's another stream of income. At first, I wanted to hit it big as I saw others brag about huge trades on the internet. I quickly realized that everyone has big trades like that. I do too sometimes. Sometimes really big percentage winners, like 30, 40% winners, and sometimes even more. But you can also have big losses. Not every trade will be a home run, and you can't possibly know which ones will be big winners or which will lose. So you can't risk big on every single trade or you'll blow up. Don't get fooled by the hype out there. And there is a lot of hype out there. Now, I put out a video with the invite to this webinar, and hopefully you've had a chance to watch it already. It outlines a bit of my journey and struggle and how I was led down the path to finally becoming a systematic trader and systematic investor, and why. It talks about why I wouldn't even be trading or be here today if it weren't for discovering that this was the only way for me to be able to stay in the trading business. For the sake of time today, I'm not going to rehash all of that, but you can definitely go back afterwards and have a watch of that video. Okay, everybody buckle in. Here's what we're going to cover during the next hour or so. Secret number 1, system hacking. How to understand and know if any trading strategy can work and make money for you. Secret number 2, system cloning. How to clone proven quantified strategies in no time flat and manage them with a few button clicks each day. And then secret number 3, system diversifying. How to find the best systematic strategies that are a good fit for you and execute them in less than 10 minutes each day. All right, so are you all ready? Are you all ready? Okay, then let's get started. Secret number 1, system hacking. How to understand and know if any trading strategy can work and make money for you. When I first started trading and throughout the years, I heard a lot of market wisdom quotes like these. The first is, cut your losses and let your profits run. Perhaps you've heard a few of these trading words of wisdom too. Here's another one. It's not whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. This is the basis of truth in secret number 1. I'm going to show you how to know if any trading or investing strategy can make you money. Now let me tell you a quick story. Years ago when I was trading as a discretionary trader, I realized that I would make a bit of money. I would then give it all back and even more in one or just a few trades. I could never fully understand why. Has this ever happened to you? Is this something that you can relate to, guys and girls? I could never really understand why until I ran a ton of different backtests on different trading ideas and came to a conclusion that I just could not deny. Here's what new traders or investors expect when they first start. The first thing they expect is to always win and never lose. In other words, always be right and never be wrong. Have you also ever expected this? Have you ever wanted to always be right when trading? Guess what? Me too. So eventually they realize that winning absolutely all the time is probably not realistic nor achievable. So a trader or investor will shift their expectations, but not by very much. Their expectation might then shift to, I want to be right 90% or better of the time, and when I win, I want to have big trades, but if I have to lose, then when I lose, I want to lose a small amount, the very least amount possible. In other words, they want the best of all possible scenarios. Like you, I've been down this road to the Holy Grail and spent a lot of time trying to achieve this result. I've spent countless hours backtesting a ton of different strategies, always looking for this perfect scenario. Unfortunately, neither one of these two scenarios are possible. Let me show you what the true reality is. I hope this doesn't ruin anyone's expectations, but we live in the real world and we have to be real and honest here. If you can't accept these truths, then you'll never be able to make it as a trader or investor. You might as well stop here and save yourself the time and heartache. Here's what reality really looks like. First off, a few definitions. The win rate is just the percentage of times that you're right. Much like taking a test, if you get half of your trades right and profitable, your win rate is 50%. The second definition, the payoff ratio, is the average win divided by the average loss. You can kind of think of this like your realized reward to risk ratio. So in terms of the two possible types of results that you can get when trading, you can win less often, but make more money when you do win than when you lose. In other words, cut your losses and let your profits or let your winners run. Or you can win more often, but make less money when you win than when you lose. That's the reality. I didn't know it when I first the first few years when I was losing more money than I was making, but this is the truth. I don't know of anyone that has figured out how to get the best of both scenarios. I know of no one that can get a high win rate and a high payoff ratio. It's always a trade-off, always. And any strategy will sit somewhere on this spectrum of results. Now, once you recognize this as reality and accept the undeniable mathematical truth. You can trade strategies that work both ways. Either is fine. As long as you know what to expect, you can emotionally deal with the outcomes. Your expectations will be in alignment with reality, and you can better stick to your plan. As long as you can accept the realities and respect the math, you can make money. This is actually what gives you what's called edge. Edge is the resulting math of your strategy. It's the mathematical result after you do all the buying and selling based on your strategy rules when a strategy exhibits one of these two scenarios that is positive. It's the mathematical underpinning of what makes your strategy work. Now, it took me years for this to finally sink in a way that caused an actual paradigm shift in my thinking. Once you learn this, you cannot unlearn it. You become consciously aware of it at all times when you're trading or when considering a new strategy. You become much like this guy. Remember that part in the Matrix when Neo discovers the truth? Once he discovered the truth, there was really no stopping him. He could use the new laws of physics that he discovered for his new reality to his advantage. Once you understand the simple math behind successful trading strategies, you can do the same. Let's look at an actual example using the first scenario. So in this example, the average win when you win will be $2,000. Your average loss will be $1,000. So your win rate will be 50%. So in this example, you've got a 50% win rate, a payoff ratio of 2,000 divided by 1,000 or 2. So a trader that averages 2,000 on wins and 1,000 on losses and has a 50% win rate on 100 trades, when you do the math, 50 times 2,000 minus 50 times 1,000 equals $50,000. The expectancy is 50,000 divided by 100 trades or $500 per trade. Now, the more trades or opportunities, the more profitable. Here's another example using the second scenario. So the average win will be $1,000, the average loss will be $1,500, and the win rate will be 70%. So in this example, 70% win rate, payoff ratio of 0.66, that's 1,000 divided by 1,500. A trader averages $1,000 on wins and $1,500 on losses, has a 70% win rate. So on 100 trades, do the math, 70 times 1,000 minus 30 times 1,500 equals $25,000. So the expectancy is 25,000 divided by 100 or $250 per trade. And again, the more trades or opportunities, the more profitable. Now, in order to make money trading or investing, you just need to apply the edge as consistently as possible and try to get more opportunities or trades in order to get as close as possible to your expected result or your stated edge. If you have a strategy with a positive edge that has positive expectancy, then the more trades you can do, the more profitable you will be, as long as commission drag doesn't eat into your profit too much. It's the law of large numbers applied that makes this work. Now, earlier I mentioned that when I started trading, I would make small profits and then give it all back and more in just a few trades. I didn't understand if the math behind my trading style worked. In fact, I didn't even understand the simple math concept. I only understood the reasons after I was able to run a ton of different backtests on different trading strategies. I noticed the pattern that emerged. I could get higher payoff ratios with lower win rates, or I could get higher win rates with lower payoff ratios. But I just couldn't seem to nail the holy grail of getting both. Why? Because it doesn't exist. The math became undeniable. I couldn't argue with the numbers after seeing the patterns over and over again. How do you argue with numbers? As Jay-Z says, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Once armed with the math, using the systematic approach that I now use allowed me to move forward with the renewed confidence that was needed, because I now knew what to expect. Okay, that concludes secret number one. Now you know from a high level how to understand and know if any trading strategy can work and make money for you. Your strategy's edge is created by the math. Obviously, we can't go into a lot of depth here on how we analyze strategies like we do on the inside of our service, but this is the basis of all successful strategies that you need to understand. Never forget this. If you just understand this one point, you'll be further ahead than 90% of all traders and investors. You'll be able to know if a systematic strategy makes money just by looking at a few numbers. And we make these numbers available. All of the strategies that you have access to have an historical edge. They all have positive expectancy, and the math proves this. You just need to figure out which scenario you're more comfortable with and start out by choosing a strategy that fits your expectations and your personality. Now, would you like to learn more about how this works? Okay, stick around. It's not overly difficult. You just need guidance. We'll help you do this. Now, don't just take my word for it. I've invited a couple of my systematic friends from the Systematic Investors Group community to join me today so you can hear from them how systematic investing has changed their lives over the past several years and the goals and successes they've achieved. So first, let me pass the mic to Gary.
Thanks, Dave, for the opportunity to talk about my trading and experience with systematic investing, and in particular the tools and services you are talking about today. In general, I love trading. I've been intrigued by the markets for as long as I can remember, and I've been involved in some way since I started earning an income and had some money to devote to it. My evolution was like yours. Many years spent as a value investor trying to buy low and sell high, looking at fundamentals to determine the best opportunities, subscribing to various services for trade ideas and guidance, learning options and trying to generate income being a seller. But throughout all of this, I was not happy with the consistency of profits or the lack of consistency in finding trades. I needed something more systematic based on specific rules, something objective that removed emotions from the decision-making process. This led me to rules-based investing and the development of software to test these rules-based strategies. Having a systematic strategy is what made all the difference and allowed me to turn the corner in my own trading and investing. I love developing new strategies and customizing software to test and implement them. The part of trading that I do not enjoy very much is actually placing the trades and managing my portfolio. As soon as I am manually involved in placing trades, emotions enter the picture and I deviate from my tested rules. I'm always thinking that I can get a slightly better fill price if I just wait it out a bit, that if I hold my positions for another day, the market will turn in my favor, and so on. Tools that allow me to remove this emotional aspect of trading are unbelievably valuable to me. I use Alera Portfolio Manager, a tool like APM that places the trades for me and allocates the right value to each position, allows me to take emotion out of the trades, be consistent, and gives me time to focus on other more important things. Taking the strategy to the next level, I've made my NDX Momentum Strategy signals available on the SIG website as a subscription service. It's being offered under the name Mountain Trading. This is an actively traded strategy with impressive backtest and out-of-sample results. If you are into more active trading where positions are held for several days, then this type of system is a good fit. You can expect 13 to 14 trades per month on average. Signals have been live on the SIG website since the beginning of the year, and I've been trading it myself since about 2017. You can see the backtest results and out-of-sample real trading results on the website at www.systematic-investors.com/mountain-trading. You can also see some informational videos on the strategy and on my backtest approach on the Mountain Trading section of the website. This will give you all a better idea of my approach to systematic investing. You can test out the NDX momentum signals for only $9.99 for the first month. So with a little upfront investment, you can check out the mechanics of the strategy and even get the automated trading working with APM if you choose. The signals are updated daily and can be managed manually, or if you use APM, can be managed in semi-automatic or on full autopilot. I personally trade my NDX momentum strategy on full autopilot, where trades are placed automatically. I can do this because I'm comfortable and confident with the strategy. The system runs with minimal user intervention. This strategy makes up a large portion of my personal portfolio. Based on my extensive testing and experience, I believe it has a very good chance of beating the market over the next 3 years. I encourage you to take a look at the backtest and out-of-sample results, do your own due diligence, and give the 1-month $9.99 trial subscription a go. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm around and active in the Systematic Investors Group community. Thanks, Dave. Back to you.
Hey, thanks, Gary. I really appreciate you joining us today and sharing your knowledge and experience. Okay, let's get into secret number 2. Secret number 2, system cloning. How to clone proven quantified strategies in no time flat and manage them with a few button clicks each day. Okay, let me tell you another quick story. There came a point in my journey where I spent a lot of time trying to figure out some strategies that worked, and then I finally got past that hurdle. Now we offer our members the same kind of strategies within a Systematic Investors Group community so that they don't have to waste months or years of their time trying to reinvent the wheel. Do you guys think that it would be cool getting strategies that could work for you? Now, at first, I wasn't able to actually benefit from working strategies because I wasn't able to nail down a process that allowed me to exploit and manage my strategies. I wasn't able to organize my day and stay consistently focused so that I was doing the right things at the right time every day. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but trust me, for me it was super hard. Trying to implement even one strategy manually was hard. Now imagine having multiple strategies, each with their own portfolios. Then trying to figure out how to find trades for each different strategy, execute and also manage those trades for each strategy every day. I just wasn't cut out for that. Does anyone else struggle staying focused on monotonous tasks day in and day out? Do you struggle with taking each trade without question when you're supposed to? Well, I can tell you that consistency is what wins the race. Just ask the turtle how he beat the hare. Because I had other obligations that crept into my schedule when I needed to be looking for trading opportunities, it was kind of impossible for me. I just wasn't able to manage the consistency needed. It was frustrating to finally reach a point where I had finally turned the corner and cracked the code, but still wasn't doing anything with it. It became a major issue when my daughter started school. I was in charge of dropping her off and picking her up, mostly because I wanted to be. Why have a life if you can't do the things that you want, right? Like spending quality time with your kids and participating as they're growing up. So the one big challenge for me was being able to stick to a consistent process because I discovered that consistent processes lead to consistent outcomes. I have an edge and I just need to keep exploiting that edge by taking the same kinds of trades day in and day out. The second challenge, dealing with technology, applies to both you and I. It applies to everyone, really. I love technology, but I know a lot of people don't. How many people can relate that learning new software to do your job can be a pain? It's a huge challenge to learn an entire software program. I got through that first challenge of figuring out a new backtesting program, but I still didn't have the final technology nor the process I needed to execute on my strategies. Sure, I could now test and verify my strategies, but I couldn't trade them consistently. It turns out my solution for number 2 would come from a trading friend. He introduced me to a piece of software called Alert Portfolio Manager, or APM for short. I spent a ton of time figuring out how to integrate APM with my existing backtesting software called AmiBroker. I then set them up so that everything was pretty much seamless and turnkey. In fact, I created an entire course on the subject for those that are more technical, and I'll tell you later how you can get that too if you're interested. As it turns out, Alert Portfolio Manager also makes it super simple for anyone, I mean anyone, to use systematic strategies. They don't have to be their own. They can come from anywhere and without having to understand or learn much about technology at all. Once set up, APM just requires a few mouse button clicks each day at most. APM software technology actually does what technology was intended to do, and that is to make our lives much easier. So score 1 for technology actually doing its intended job. So APM solved my challenges. It takes care of everything trading or investing related. My systematic community friends and I spend a lot of time figuring out diversified strategies that perform in different markets and conditions. This aspect of systematic strategy development is not for everyone because it's not that easy and not everyone has the interest, time, or inclination. But do you know what is cool about this? We can now help other people deal with their trading challenges too. Others can become diversified systematic traders and investors using our many strategies along with APM. They can benefit from all of our hard work without the deep levels of knowledge required. Sure, everyone needs to know how to assess strategies so that they understand the risks and make sure they're in alignment with their own personal goals and objectives, but not everyone needs to understand the minute specifics of strategy development. Systematic Investors Group developers are happy to help out our other members because we understand the struggle and because of financial compensation too. That compensation can be used to help us grow our own trading accounts and further compound our efforts. Does that sound like a win-win to you guys? So having access to clone our best work gives our members many quantified and proven strategies for their own use too. And members can clone good strategies in no time flat using APM because Alera Portfolio Manager is easy to use software. It allows chosen strategies to be efficiently executed in an individual's own brokerage account. You can use one brokerage account and then decide how much you want to allocate to each strategy, even if it's only 5 or 10% of your entire account. It lets you set up multiple strategies and divide them within the same account. So you can run 1, 2, 5 or 10 different strategies side by side each and every day. You could even run some of your own strategies using the same APM software installation at the exact same time. And strategies can be run semi or fully automated, giving members full control over all decision making. Let's take a quick look at how easy that entire process is for someone who has absolutely zero software or technical skills. Okay, let's see a quick demo of Alera Portfolio Manager. So I'm just going to find Alera Portfolio Manager on my computer. I'm just going to open up like a blank workspace that I just started. So here's a blank workspace. Now what we're going to do is just I'm just going to show you how easy it is to add a couple of free strategies from our website. So here is there's 2 free daily strategies on our site, and there's some pro strategies as well. These 2 free strategies are actually pro level strategies. So so this is what it looks like, on our site. Here are some of the signals that it's generated for the buys. Here are some for the sells on this particular date. Here's another strategy. It has a few more buy signals, and here are the sell signals for that strategy. So what I'm going to do is just going to set up both of these strategies really quickly. And what I'm going to do is here's a screenshot of what the settings are. So all you really need to do is grab those screenshots. I'm going to move it to my other screen just so that I can actually copy it, and I'll just move this one over there as well. So now all I'm going to do is I'll give it the same parameters. So this one I'll call SCM trend for supercharged momentum trend. It's going to be US stocks. So I'm just going to go through, I'm just copying the settings that I have on my other screen, and for the actual strategy ID, so this one is the supercharged momentum trend. The strategy code is in fact right here on the actual strategy scan on our website. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to paste it in here, and then I'm going to type in the rest of the settings here, just following what our guidelines are. So this is going to be CSV, maximum file age. Okay, so what I'm going to do is if I click this on or off, it's going to decide whether I want to trade in semi-automatic mode or on autopilot. So let me just change this to 10. I'll change this to 9. So what this says is that the strategy is going to run at 9:10 every morning. I can set it on autopilot, and I'm just going to allocate 20% to the strategy. I'm not going to select any of these settings, but I'm going to give it 5% here for the custom lot size. That's going to trade 5% per position of 20 positions, and then only for this strategy, and then using 20% of my actual account. All of these other things are okay except for this one. And let's see, what else do I need to change? I'm just going to change this to 125 and save. Now it's just going to ask me for confirmation from my Gmail account. I'm going to tell it to go ahead, and now this strategy is permissioned, and I should be able to now I can actually just run this strategy. And what it'll do now, I'm just confirming that it's going to pull signals from our site. You can see here Systematic Investors Group, free signals, supercharged momentum trend. So it should pull up the signals from that strategy. It'll just take a second here. And you can see here are all the signals that it's actually going to run. And if I were to, so it's getting the signals every single day. And if I wanted to run this in semi-automatic mode, all I would do is I would connect it to my account and press a couple of buttons, and it would show you what it's going to actually trade that day. So that's how easy it is to actually set up one specific strategy on the site and to be able to trade it and access those signals every day. If I have this set, it's going to run it in automatic mode, and I'm pretty much good to go. I just leave this running, and I would just connect it to Interactive Brokers, just using this start button, and I would be good to go. Okay, so now I want to connect it to IB Gateway so that I actually connect the broker if I want to trade. I'm just going to, with IB Gateway open, I'm just going to click Start, and then it should automatically connect. It's giving me an error message just because I have this set up on another computer, but you can see here because I have the strategy running on another computer using IB Gateway, it's just going to give me this little error message. But if I actually wanted to trade this, what I could do is just go back to my strategies, and I could click on Order Preview, and then it's actually going to just look at everything that I have in the account and decide whether or not it actually wants to trade those things. So you can see here it's actually generating sell orders because my other account has the same strategy running, but it's also generating some buy signals, and that's basically what it would look like. It would tell you exactly what you're going to trade that day, and you can decide if you want to trade those or not, or just run it on autopilot. Hey, sorry, I think I said I'd set up both strategies, but I think you get the idea after setting up just one strategy. We have a few videos on the front page of our website at systematic-investors.com that explain this process in detail and how to get everything set up. But I just wanted to show you how fast and easy it was to set up one single strategy. Okay, so how easy and how cool was that, gang? Do you think you could run software each day that is this easy to use? So earlier I mentioned that my final challenge had to do with sticking to a consistent process. When I discovered Alera Portfolio Manager, it literally changed everything for me. It allowed me to finally be process driven. I could be productive and execute every trade every day, knowing that I had an edge in the market. I could just keep exploiting that edge by trading my strategies and following my plan. And I realized that I could also help other traders achieve their goals too, by sharing strategies, so that our members could easily clone them and not have to worry about strategy development. All of this is super easy for our community with easy to use strategy scans plus Alera Portfolio Manager software. Members can now manage their own strategies and unique portfolios in their own brokerage accounts. By having access to even one good strategy plus being able to execute it consistently every day, understand that you'll be further ahead than 95% of all other market participants out there. Seriously. You'll even be ahead of the majority of wealth and money managers too, because you'll have a more structured process than even most of them use. It could be a real game changer. You'll also be able to compete on a more level playing field with the algos out there and have the best chance of coming out on top. Does that sound like something that would help you guys? Okay, so that concludes secret number 2. Now you know how to clone proven, quantified strategies in no time flat from our community and website and manage them in your own brokerage accounts with a few button clicks each day. So the cool thing is, this just doesn't work for me or Gary. It works for all kinds of people, and not just the big boys that you hear about like Jim Simmons of Renaissance Capital, or Ray Dalio Bridgewater Associates, or Ed Secoda, Michael Covell, or Paul Tudor Jones, or countless others. It works for all kinds of ordinary guys and gals like you and me. Now, I've invited Dan to join us today to share his experience with systematic investing. So let me pass the mic now to Dan.
Thank you, Dave. The systematic approach can and does work for all kinds of people. I've been participating in the markets for the past 20 years or so. Like many of you, I started by investing in mutual funds and ETFs. I use mainly asset allocation strategies and sometimes rotational ones. Fast forward 5 or 6 years, I had read too many books, had way too many ideas, and gained a good understanding of stocks, ETFs, options, futures, volatility, you name it. I consider myself a student of the markets. I could run statistics and quantify a lot of these ideas into systems, but there were just not enough hours in a day to manually implement multiple strategies. On top of that, I had just started a business that was keeping me extremely busy and wanted to spend my free time with my family. I had a system, I had a process in place, and I was trying my best to follow the rules. Then 2008 happened. Then 2010 flash crash. The drawdowns were fairly deep. That was somehow expected, but really hard to swallow. I knew what the main issue was. I had only one system, and every single system experiences large drawdown at one point in time or another. I had no shortage of new ideas with promising paper results, but my business demanded even a bigger share of my time. Something had to change. I needed a faster way to quantify my ideas and a better way to implement them. I looked around and I couldn't find any tool suitable for execution. Fortunately, I have a software engineering background. I started coding a backtester and then implemented my first automated trading system. Yes, it did have some glitches. It needed a bit of hand-holding, but it allowed me to put one more of my ideas to work. It handled multiple trades every day with little supervision. After everything was fine-tuned, I didn't need to dedicate more than a few minutes a day to execution. I could spend more time on system development. Fairly soon I had a handful of strategies running at the same time, managing hundreds of orders every single day. All I had to do was to monitor the execution and change the capital allocation from time to time. It has been over 6 years since I implemented my first automated trading system. What seemed an impossible task for the retail investor at that time can be set up now in a matter of hours. As a matter of fact, I am using now off-the-shelf products for the majority of my automated trading. My original code became obsolete. I consider this a positive development. I use Amy Broker and sometimes Python for strategy development and backtesting. I use Systematic Investors Group strategy scans. I also generate my own scans using Amy Broker. For the most complex part, the execution, I use Alera Portfolio Manager. If I want, I can now get away without writing a single line of code, but I still enjoy sharing ideas, developing strategies, and being part of a community of like-minded people. And who knows, 6 years from now, I might tell you a story about how guys like Dave, Gary, and the ones of you who decide to join today had a greater impact than my first automated system to the way I approach investing. Thank you. Back to Dave.
Thanks, Dan. That was great, man. I appreciate you spending some time with us today and sharing both your knowledge and experience. I know you've been doing this for many years now, having multiple automated strategies running and having success with it. So thanks again. Okay, so gang, let's move forward. Now, you might be thinking, systematic strategies sound cool, but I don't know which strategy is good enough. Which is the number one absolute best strategy in the world? If you've been doing this long enough, maybe you're thinking, I don't know how to find a strategy that works for my personality type. If you're thinking about these things, you're definitely on the right track. You see, not every strategy is right for every investor. This is one of the reasons why we continue to develop and offer new strategies to our community. I've personally developed good strategies, but I'm not interested in trading them for a number of reasons. I might not be comfortable with the risk of the strategy. I might not like the potential drawdowns. Or maybe I don't like long-term strategies, so maybe it just doesn't fit my timing. Maybe I like trading stocks that are moving higher with momentum because I like trading stocks that really move. Or maybe I like buying stocks at a discount, and a particular strategy doesn't exhibit those characteristics. Depending on my personality, there may be different things that gel better with my expectations, personality, and temperament. Have you looked at a bunch of trading or investing methods or strategies in the past? Has this question ever crossed your mind? Okay, let's look at secret number 3 now. Secret number 3, system diversifying. How to find the best systematic strategies that are a good fit for you and execute them in less than 10 minutes each day. Now, it doesn't matter the type of systematic strategy you decide to use as long as a few key things are true. First is what we learned in secret number 1, that the math actually works. This is key and why it was secret number 1. You should also know your strategy's average returns and how much the strategy could potentially be underwater from time to time, because all strategies, absolutely all strategies, go through challenging periods, just as markets go through challenging periods. And there's no way around this. You have to be comfortable with the risks. You can get an idea of returns versus risk based on past performance through backtesting. We talk more about this on the inside. Finally, the strategy should fit your outlook, perspective, temperament, style, and all the qualitative or subjective things that are important to you. Why is all of this important? Because you need to do everything possible so that you're able to stick to your systematic strategy and plan. The only way to do that is if you have enough confidence in the strategy. This is a good real-world example that it illustrates the point. So there's a famous story in the financial world called the Turtle Traders. Perhaps you've heard of it. Successful traders Richard Dennis and partner Bill Eckhart were having a friendly ongoing disagreement which turned into a bet about whether traders had inborn ability or could be taught. Was it nature or was it nurture? As legend goes, Richard was willing to stake his own money on the idea that trading could be taught. They were visiting a turtle farm in Singapore when Richard blurted out, "We are going to train traders just like they raise turtles." Now, there are many great lessons from this real-life story, but I'd just like to focus on one here. The traders that were trained into a simple rules-based system that had the confidence to just follow the strategy's rules, no matter if emotions or doubt crept in, were the ones that became successful. Some went on to earn millions of dollars. The others were not successful and dropped out. Richard Dennis later said, "I always say that you could publish my trading rules in the newspaper and no one would follow them. The key is consistency and discipline. Almost anybody can make up a list of rules that are 80% as good as what we taught our people. What they couldn't do is give them the confidence to stick to those rules even when things are going bad." This is the key. If the math works and you find a strategy that performs well and fits your personality, it doesn't have to be the best system out there. There will always be better strategies, but you might not have the confidence to stick with those strategies. So find a strategy that backtests well and fits your personality, your temperament, and your expectations, and that you have the confidence with through challenging times, because you'll eventually get challenged. Here's an example from my own experience. I was evaluating this before I committed real money. As expected, the long-term equity curve was positive, going from lower left to upper right. 2015 was a challenging year, right? Not every year will be a barn burner. When I decided to start trading, it was hitting new equity highs and moved out of that challenging period. That was a good sign. Here's the chart after the fact. There was a period of good performance after I got in. I think it was up about 16%. Where the white arrow shows the move up. The strategy was hitting new equity highs and did well for about a year. Then it peaked out and had a quick and steep drawdown, bringing it just above break even from my entry. This down move coincided with a challenging period in the market, so it wasn't unexpected behavior given the market conditions. So can you guess what my emotional state was at this time? Now, first, looking at the equity curve, it was probably the quickest decline in the history of the strategy. That definitely shook me a bit. It was emotionally frustrating because I'd enjoyed a steady climb all year, only to see my gains vanish in a short time. So can you guess what I did next? Well, if you guessed that I bailed, you'd be right. I preserved a small profit and then turned it off. Now, I could deal with the daily emotional ups and downs up to that point because it was fully automated. But when I experienced the drawdown and most of my gains vanished, my emotions kicked in and got the best of me. It was very similar to the emotions I felt before I started portfolio trading. When I only traded 1 or 2 positions at a time and did poorly on any given day, I hung my emotional hat on the results of the one or two trading decisions. It was challenging, but I just hung in there. My strategy would have recovered and started to move higher again if I had just hung in there. Just a blip in a long-term chart. The strategy was built on robust principles with 20 years of performance history, but I later learned that it didn't suit my personality. So can you guess what the lesson I learned from this experience? What was the lesson I learned? There's always a better performing strategy out there. Your strategy will outperform others some years and some years underperform. It doesn't matter. Just find a strategy that is a robust performer and suits your personality, expectations, that you have confidence with, and stick with it. You have to be in the market to experience the good times when they come. Don't chase the holy grail. It just doesn't exist. However, there are ways to make things easier. I couldn't hang my hat on just one strategy, no different than I could trading one or two stocks. All strategies struggle. That doesn't mean that they stop working. They just go through cycles, no different than the markets go through cycles. First, I realized trading one or two positions wasn't going to cut it. Then I realized it was important to trade a systematic strategy with a portfolio of multiple positions. But finally, I realized it was important to trade multiple systematic strategies. Why? Well, because you benefit from strategies that outperform when others are lagging. This keeps you more emotionally balanced. It also diversifies your risk and your opportunities across different markets and conditions so that your equity curves are smoother. One key objective at Systematic Investors Group is to help with the diversification of strategies to better the odds of long-term success. Why? Well, here are two different strategies in their individual equity curves, plus the combined equity curve in the middle. The combined equity curve, which is the black line, gives us the benefits of both strategies. Notice the combined results are smoother. Now, a robust trading plan benefits from the diverse characteristics of how markets work. Here's a visual that shows three different characteristics and types of strategies that can be used to balance out a systematic investor's entire portfolio. So from left to right, a shorter term strategy that exploits the fact that markets pull back before they move higher. And then a midterm strategy that exploits the well-documented momentum phenomenon of the market. So for example, a monthly momentum rotation strategy or another type of short to midterm momentum strategy. Finally, a long-term strategy that capitalizes on the momentum phenomenon further and the fact that markets trend over long periods of time. This is the stuff we dive deeper on in the inside of Systematic Investors Group, and we provide various strategies for all situations. Diversification using multiple strategies can smooth and balance out the emotional and financial impact of inevitable drawdowns. This approach spreads risk better through different strategy opportunities and diverse timing while offering more pieces of the market pie. More opportunities beat less opportunities as long as they're the right opportunities. And a smoother equity curve means less volatility of returns, which makes staying the course so much easier. And the cool thing is, with strategy scans plus Alera Portfolio Manager, you can pick and choose which strategies best fit your personality, temperament, and that meet your objectives and goals, your unique objectives and goals. Once set up with these strategies, you can execute all of them in less than 10 minutes each day. So you're probably thinking, that's great that technical guys like Dan or Gary can do this. Developing a systematic strategy isn't the easiest thing in the world, right? Well, you wouldn't be wrong if you think that. Developing a good systematic strategy takes time, effort, and patience. But there isn't one best strategy. There are strategies where the math works well enough and strategies where the math doesn't work. But it doesn't matter. You can do this too because guys like Dan and Gary have got your back. These are some of the members in our systematic community that are developing and sharing winning strategies that you can model and move forward with on your own systematic journey. They live and breathe this stuff every day, guys. You don't have to reinvent the wheel unless, of course, you want to. So you don't need to keep searching for the absolute best of the best strategies. You don't need to keep chasing the holy grail. There will always be a better strategy out there somewhere. Just find some good, robust strategies where the math works and have performed well in the past. Now, although past performance is no guarantee of future results, it's the best measurement tool that we have available to us because nobody can predict the future. Good strategies being used now and executed with the right process consistently, then given time and compounding, will perform better than the best strategies being used at some point in the future and at some time in the future. If you have confidence in the strategies because of expectations built on past performance, they fit your temperament and personality, then they're good enough to get started. You can always swap strategies easily later on as you find those better suited to your trading personality or expectations. You can combine several strategies as you learn more about it on the inside. Just know that you can mix multiple systematic strategies to increase diversification and better your chances of success. Diversifying will balance your results, your emotions, and just smooth everything out for the better. And with what we learned in secret number 2, it's totally possible to manage as many strategies as you want using strategy scans and Alera Portfolio Manager. Okay, that concludes secret number 3. Now you know how to system diversify proven quantified strategies in no time flat so that you can find the best systematic strategies that are a good fit for you and execute them in less than 10 minutes each day. So let me ask you a question. If you followed what I showed you in secret number 1 and could now know how to find a strategy that is already working, and then you did what I showed you in secret number 2 and used Systematic Investors Group to clone a proven quantified strategy in no time flat, and then you use secret number 3 to find the best systematic strategies that are a good fit for you and allow you to execute them in less than 10 minutes each day, do you think that you could be successful? Let me ask you another question. How many of you are excited about what we just talked about? How many of you are feeling a little overwhelmed because we covered so much? As you can understand, it's impossible for me to show you everything you need to get results in a 90-minute presentation, but I tried to cover as much of the key stuff to help you shift your understanding and your paradigm. And I think that's important because you can learn everything on the inside. I've created a special package for those who are ready to move forward and want to implement this new systematic opportunity. Is it okay with you if I spend some time going over a very special offer that I created to help you implement all this awesome systematic stuff? Is it okay? All right, it's totally fine if you guys don't want to know this stuff. It only took me over 10 years to learn it. I already know it. It's burned into my very being. Dan knows it. Gary knows it. This isn't about me and this isn't about us. This is for you. So are you okay if I spend 10 minutes and show you how it can change your life? Is it okay? Okay, thanks everyone. So here's what you're going to get. The first thing is the masterclass on systematic investing to get you oriented. This course is designed as a high-level introduction into systematic investing so that anyone can do it. It's not a super complicated mathy or technical course. It's for anyone. It's designed to get you oriented for success. Here's what we're going to cover. Course 1, the journey from discretionary to systematic investor. Course 2, creating a trading or investing plan on the journey to becoming more systematic. Course 3, becoming systematic, how to develop strategies, setups, and systems. Course 4, quantifying and validating systems or strategies. So I want to go back and make sure you realize who this is for. This is really for people who are traders or investors of any kind. Whether you're just getting started trading, you're a seasoned trader or investor, or manage a small fund, it doesn't matter. If you're struggling and have tried trading stocks, options, Forex, cryptos, futures, it doesn't matter. If you're super successful already, that doesn't matter either. You may think that this won't work for you, but I promise you, it doesn't matter what you do now or what you've done in the past. The systematic approach and systematic strategies will give you the new edge that you need to make things finally work, or work even better. I promise that you'll never look at the markets the same way again and for the better. You might be thinking that you can't get started with this because you don't have a strategy to trade. That doesn't matter. We give you a bunch of strategies that can work for you, and we're constantly developing new strategies that will be available for you to use. Or maybe you think you aren't technical enough to make this work, you don't know coding, or aren't really good at math. That doesn't matter either. We provide you with all the knowledge and tools that you need, and we teach you in a way that isn't overly technical. But maybe you are technical. That's cool too. We have others in our community that are super technical and will share on your level of expertise so that you're engaged at your level. Whether you're super technical or not, there's a place within our community for you. Maybe you don't think you have the time to make this work, or maybe you think you don't have the tools to make this work. Here's why that's a mistake that will hold you back from success. First, we all have some time to make anything work that will benefit us hugely, right? But the cool thing is that once you're set up, you don't even really need 10 minutes a day to keep things going. And if you don't have the time to learn some new stuff that will benefit your life, then you don't really have time to live. And you'll always be stuck where you are now. Now, I don't know about you, but every once in a while, I have to decide if things that I'm spending my time on are worth doing. If they're providing me the best value for my life, the best bang for my buck. And if they aren't, I have to make a decision to stop wasting my most important resource that I have available to me, and that's my time. Secondly, you don't need to have the tools to make this work. That's what we're here for, to give you the right tools, research, strategies, everything you need to move forward and make this all work for you today. So when you sign up, you're going to get instant access to our masterclass on systematic trading and investing, a total value of $8.99. That's what we would sell this course for as a standalone course on its own. It's actually 4 full courses. It will take you through the high-level concepts that you need to understand in order to benefit from this new opportunity. Now, as part of this package, you're also going to get access to all of the systematic strategies that we've published on our site. Our strategy scans are trading ideas, but that are fully quantified and verified systematic strategies. They are complete trading and investing models that have been back-tested over 20 years of data. For the strategies that make the cut, we publish the real-time signals to our site each day. You get all of these. You also get the full backtest results of each strategy so that you can see how well they performed over the past 20 years. These get updated monthly. And the cool thing is, we're always developing new strategies all the time. We're constantly researching and testing new trading and investing ideas. You get access to all of this research. And for the strategies that perform well, we'll add them as strategy scan signals to our site so that they're available for you too. So whenever something new is discovered, it's yours, no questions asked. Each strategy scan purchased on their own would cost about $100 per month alone. So every time we add a new strategy, that's like increasing the value of your membership by $1,200 every year. So when you have this tool, you'll be able to find actionable tradable stocks to trade every single day. You'll be able to exploit multiple strategies so that you can extract profits out of the markets using diverse opportunities. You'll know exactly when to get in and when to get out of the trades based on the model's best exit criteria for both stops and targets. You'll have less doubts and more confidence. You'll be able to get rid of your other stock or market scanners used to look for trade ideas. You know, those other scanners that they never tell you should exit a position either for a profit or a loss. They only tell you when to get in. With our systematic strategies, you'll also be able to get rid of your expensive data feed because you won't really need to look at every tick of market movement. These are all end-of-day strategies at the present time. Now, when we first started, I ran into the biggest roadblock possible. I really didn't know how to trade properly. I didn't know what actually worked or how well. So we had to go out, learn a ton of different things, and eventually figure out how to design and create trading strategies and investing systems for ourselves that worked. It took a long time, and it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. We know from experience as struggling traders and investors what the number one problem is, and that's having a full, robust, working strategy that you can have the confidence to execute day in and day out, knowing when to get in, knowing when to get out when things aren't working, and knowing when to get out when things are working and it's time to take some profits on a trade. Now the number one problem is totally solved for you. We understand the process and we keep delivering systematic strategies that are working and have the potential to keep working. Now, it took me over a decade to learn all this stuff and figure out how to make things work. And it took me several years programming and experimenting to nail down some good strategies. Then it took me 2 years of collaborating with a few clever gents to figure out how to implement all the many technical moving parts so that all the pieces fit together. We've spent countless hours and many thousands of dollars to solve this challenge efficiently, but I don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel. We've already got a proven system that is working and will continue to improve even more over time. And I'm just going to give it all to you with this package. Does that sound cool? So when you use this and the next tools we're going to give you, not only do you save the time and money that we spent to develop it, but you also save what would be months or years of wasted time and money because you'll be doing it right the first time. There's no trial and error, period. You can hit the ground running from day one. Now you might be thinking that these strategies won't work forever, especially everyone else gets in on them, right? Or what if they just stop working? Now these are valid concerns. First off, any strategy can just stop working. This is why we taught you secret number 3, system diversification, because all strategies struggle from time to time. We trade multiple strategies as part of our plan to mitigate this type of risk. Also, we publish the backtesting reports every month. So if a strategy underperforms, you can easily shut it off temporarily in order to assess if it recovers and warrants further participation. This usually isn't a recommended action unless you're concerned that a strategy might actually be broken. Now, realistically, what are the chances that a strategy that has been working well over the past 20 years suddenly stops working entirely? Probably not likely. Think about that. Now, lastly, the market is a huge place with lots of participation for all kinds of different reasons, using all kinds of different strategies, time frames, and approaches. Our small community of traders will have a very small impact on what the market will do. And not every member will even follow every strategy. We also only trade very liquid markets and stocks. So the chances of one strategy stopping working because of the activity of all of our members is not something we're worried about. If it were, we wouldn't even be doing this in the first place. So when you sign up, you're going to get instant access to all of our daily strategy scans, a total value of at least $4,800 for the first year. And that's with only 4 strategies. We'll be adding more new strategies all the time. In fact, we have 3 that are coming to market now. And we'll be showing you on the inside how to combine the different strategies for system diversification so that you can achieve your own unique goals and objectives. Now, what else do you guys and gals all need to be successful? What else? What about a tool that saves you a ton of time each day? What about a tool that prevents you from making mistakes all the time? What about something that allows you to execute all of these strategies consistently? Or that figures out your position sizing on each stock for you automatically? What about a tool that deals with your order entries and exits while removing the emotion from decision making and totally destroys decision fatigue? Now, as part of this package, you're also going to get a 1-year license to use APM or Alera Portfolio Manager. This is the starter or silver version of Alera Portfolio Manager, so you can try it out. If you want the full platinum version, we have a package for that as well. Why are we offering you this cool tool too? Well, because we want to give you everything you need in order to be successful. This is the #1 tool of choice for the Systematic Investors Group. We use it to execute our many trading and investing systems each and every day. All the guys that have been on today use this tool. I use it myself, so do the other guys we've had on today. So we negotiated an incredible deal with the team over at Alera Trading in order to make it available to our systematic community too. With Alera Portfolio Manager, you can implement whichever strategies you feel might best fit your personality, temperament, objectives, and that best meet your goals. APM will allow you to grab and execute any of the systematic strategies from our site. You can even develop your own strategies if you know how, and use APM to manage those strategies at the same time too. Can you see how powerful this is, guys? I'm not sure if you guys understand that what we're doing here is institutional level quality, but now available to retail level traders like yourself and myself. APM will allow you to decide how much of your account you want to allocate to any given strategy. You can run one strategy or 10 strategies. It doesn't matter. You can benefit from secret number 3 by diversifying your strategies. And once you're all set up with the strategies you want to use, APM will allow you to execute absolutely all of them in only a few minutes each day in your own brokerage account. APM will handle all of your buying when you need to get in and your selling when you need to get out. It will allow you to review all the trade signals and decide which ones you want to take. Or you can run APM on full autopilot and let it just consistently take all the signals in the order that they come up and when each of your strategy portfolios actually has available room to trade. So if you're afraid to give total control over to a software program, we understand. We went through that same fear when we started. That's why APM is designed to allow you to control which trades you want to enter, or if you want to enter those trades at all. It will handle all of your position sizing, allocation per strategy, everything. It will do this without making order entry mistakes and without allowing you to duplicate orders or have other strategies sell stocks that you already own under a different strategy. It will manage all that interference. And it will send you reports by email each day on the activity that's taken place on a strategy by strategy and total account basis. Guys, this is basically like having an employee working for you that doesn't make mistakes, doesn't talk back, and doesn't even get paid. Would any of you like an employee like that? Okay, so have you ever wanted to have your own trading desk working for you? If so, now you've got it. Now, myself and the team at Alera Trading had to go through a ton of development hours, experimentation, and learning at great expense over the past 2 years in order to get this all working and be able to offer it to you today. But you won't have to experience the pain and cost because I'm giving you access to Alera Portfolio Manager and our integration bridge as a special bonus. You won't have to go through all the trouble to make this work like we did because we've already done the hard work for you. That won't be you in the picture there. But it doesn't matter what we had to go through to make this as painless as possible for you because now you have it. This bonus is going to make it easy, efficient, and fast for you to manage your entire daily trading or investing workflow. How? Well, because it pulls together all of your strategies, manages all of your orders, and integrates everything for you in one simple place, and in just a few minutes each day. In fact, most of the work is actually just checking in and making sure that your computer and software is still running so that APM can do its thing. Now, you might be thinking that you've seen way too many Terminator movies and Risings of the Machines to not be worried, that you don't trust automation, especially when it comes to your money. No problem. You choose the level of automation that you're comfortable with. Remember, these are not black box systems. They are not artificial intelligence driven programs that no one understands. They are rules-based strategies that have been created by a strategy designer that is also a trader or investor. When you understand the rules, which we share with you, you can look at a chart and easily see why a trade is taken. APM is just a tool to make your daily workload and process easier to manage. It's intended to keep you consistent. It's not intended to replace your ability to make decisions. You might already have a process or way to decide whether you want to be in the market on any given day and are just looking for strategy signal ideas, and that's totally fine. It's all up to you, really. You are in total control at every step of the way. So when you sign up today, you're also going to get instant access to Alera Portfolio Manager, our software tool of choice, a total value of $100 a year for the silver license, and a total value of $899 a year for the platinum license. Guys, this is the exact tool that has turned the corner for me. It allows me to just execute my strategies and overall trading plan without sweating each and every decision that I have to make. I can do this in a few minutes each morning and I have zero decision fatigue. I'm not second guessing every trading decision on when to get in and more importantly, when to get out. I don't have to overthink anything anymore. Analysis paralysis for me is totally gone. It's a thing of the past. And this is something that I really struggled with. All right, guys, and when I say guys, I just want you to know that I mean both guys and gals. What else do you need to be successful at this? What else do you need? Well, Up until this point, we've made this entire systematic approach accessible to absolutely anyone. You don't have to be technical or even develop your own strategies. But what if you actually do want to develop your own strategies? Maybe today or in the future. Wouldn't you like to have that option? Maybe you even want to become a contributor to the Systematic Investors Group community and share your strategies eventually. Would that be cool? We recognize that most people don't have the time, energy, or inclination to understand all the nuances involved in developing their own strategies. They don't want to put in the years of hard work that it might take to get up to speed, learn to code, crunch data, and all that other fun stuff, that people like to talk about at parties and other social events, right? Okay, jokes aside, up until now, anybody can do this. Anybody. The bit of knowledge that a systematic investor will need to get up to speed is pretty minimal and high level, and so it should be. Our mission is to help everyone that wants to succeed find a way to actually be successful in the financial markets with this new opportunity. But what if you want to develop your own strategies? Well, we've got you covered there too. We promised that our community would be inclusive of beginners and advanced alike. It's also inclusive of non-technical and technical members. So for those that are more technically inclined or just curious about the strategy development process, we've got you covered with our course called Trading and Investing Automation for AmiBroker. This course will teach you everything that you need to know in order to integrate and automate your own trading or investing strategies. Your strategies can be for your own personal and local use, or as mentioned, you might want to share them with other systematic investors in the community or even on your own website. We spent months, and it wasn't easy putting all the pieces together to use AmiBroker to simply generate buy and sell signals without having to worry about the complexities of broker integration, which is developer level stuff. We spent a bunch of time in development and experimentation at great expense to us in order to get this all working, and now able to offer it to you today. But again, you won't have to experience the pain and cost because I'm giving you access to the blueprint. You get trading and investing automation for AmiBroker as a special bonus. You won't have to go through all the trouble to make this work like we did because we've already done the hard work for you. It doesn't matter what we had to go through to make this as painless as possible for you because now you have it. This bonus is going to make it fast and easy for you to learn how to integrate your own unique trading, investing strategies. You won't have to understand all the broker complexities in order to semi or fully automate. You don't have to become a developer. All you have to do is what you do now, and that's continue to develop your own trading ideas and backtest them. Once you feel you have a good strategy, then taking them into production is so much easier with this course. How? Well, because with a little bit of time spent learning the simple process, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can template the process for each of your new custom strategies that you want to implement. And the great thing is that you can start paper trading or forward testing your strategies before you even commit real money to them. In fact, most of the work is actually just doing what you're already doing, and that's spending the time to figure out if a trading idea works or not, but only if you are the strategy developer type. Now you might be thinking that this is too complicated for you. Not everyone will want to do their own strategy development, and that's totally fine. But for those that do want to do it, you might still be thinking that this is overly complicated. It's not. If you're developing strategies, you're already doing the most complicated part by making sure that they work properly. You don't have to become a super software developer and figure out all kinds of APIs and broker integration complexities in order to integrate strategies into a production environment. You don't have to figure out how to make different strategies work nicely with each other so that they don't conflict, or how to make sure that strategy signals stay synced with the market. You don't have to worry about synchronization issues or any integration complexity. It's gone. Bottom line, it's pretty easy. You're already doing the hardest part as a strategy developer. So when you sign up for you do-it-yourself strategy developers, you're also going to get instant access to our course, Trading and Investing Automation for AmiBroker. Guys, this is the information that we use to automate and integrate our own strategies at Systematic Investors Group. If you want to be a systematic investor running your own custom strategies in a semi or fully automated way, this is the way to go. So now you've got a course that teaches you how to implement your own trading, investing, and automation if you're so inclined. You're also going to need a few strategies that work so that you can see how it's done, right? If you were to go out and try to buy strategy code that is decent, it will cost a few bucks. If you were to pay someone to develop that code for you, it might be even more expensive. We've seen strategy code out there for $600 on average or more per strategy. But if you're going to live in the matrix, you need the right code. If you want to develop your own strategies, we give you 3 working strategy code examples in addition to the free code that's already included in the course. Guys, this is everything that you need to get going with your own strategies if this is what you want to do. You get the RSI2 pullback strategy, the high 5 bounce strategy, and the supercharged momentum trend strategy code. Each one of these strategies, in our opinion, are pro-level strategies that are tradable. I've spent countless hours trying to figure out the right path to successful strategies, figuring out what works and how to code them. I've literally spent months working on just single strategies, not including the learning curve and entire strategy creation process. Having access to these 3 strategies will give you insight into how to do this stuff for yourself, plus a few different trading concepts that are valid. So you'll get both the trading concepts and the coding. It'll save you countless hours of effort and provide a good template so that you're not driving around in circles while trying to reach your destination. Let's just say that we went through a lot in order to get this all working and be able to offer it to you today. But again, you won't have to experience the pain and cost because I'm giving you access to these coding templates as another special bonus. We've already done the hard work for you. We'll have you speak in our language in no time flat. You can use these templates to get started and just hit the ground running at top speed. Again, guys and gals, this is everything that you need to get going with your own strategies if this is what you want to do. Remember, in addition to the free code already offered in the course, you get the RSI2 pullback strategy, the high 5 bounce strategy, and the supercharged momentum trend strategy. All right, this is getting a bit crazy. I got to start shrinking the font so that I can fit all the items in here. Okay, so you also get access to 3 complete strategy code examples that are working strategies with good back-tested results. In fact, I'm currently trading 2 of them with my own money. I'll let you guess which 2. This will help you both understand how some strategies work and also how to code them with the right templates. All right. You guys all probably know this guy from the movies, right? Matthew McConaughey. What else do you need to be successful? What else do you need? I'm giving you everything here that I possibly can because I want you to have the confidence that this guy has. I want you to have everything that you need to succeed so that you have the belief and the confidence that you need to move forward. Because I know if you take the leap, you'll be successful. But you won't take the leap unless all your bases are covered. Well, for one thing, we know that the world doesn't stand still. It's always moving and things are changing and progressing all the time. And guess what? So are we. And no one does anything great on their own. That's just a fact. When you hear stories of all these great people that have made it, they never mention the support system and teams of people, family and friends that help these super successful people along the way. It's always the one individual, right? But that's just not true. It takes a team to move people to success. You could also say it takes a community. I'd like to share one major thing that helped me get through the learning process and stay in this business long enough so that I didn't give up. Trading and investing is a lonely business. I'll bet that most people in your circle, unless they do the same things as you, probably don't understand your struggle and can't relate to you, right? That was true in my experience. Now, I know that being part of a community of like-minded people is what helped me hit many targets that I set. I couldn't do everything on my own. I didn't know what I didn't know. I needed help. I'm confident it can do the same for you. The Systematic Investors Group community is the place to make this happen. Why? Well, because we have a team of people that are focused on helping members of the community learn, develop their systematic skills, and grow. We encourage members to reach out, network, find trading buddies within the community, and help each other out too. We help you figure this all out on the inside, like how to implement everything you need to get started and to maintain the ongoing 5 or 10 minutes you need every day to keep things going. We give you all the information, strategies, training, and tools that you need to succeed. Our team is here to help facilitate and lead the community's path forward. So you don't need to know or understand all the complexities about systematic investing. We're here to guide you, but this works best when we do this together as a community and as a team. And what's the best way to win a championship? Well, being part of a winning team, of course. So let's do this together. So you get access to the growing community and access to all future pro research and strategies as soon as we release it. Remember, this is just the start. This is everything that we have to offer you today. We have so many more things planned for the future that you'll automatically get access to. We have a ton of strategy ideas currently in development. That means many more quantified strategies and live daily strategy scan signals. It also means recorded research and videos for you to learn and keep up with new developments. It means more courses and education content on a regular schedule so you can continue learning, growing, and progressing your knowledge path if that's what you want to do. Maybe it's not, and you just want to access more strategies. That's totally cool too. It means educational sessions, strategy discussion reviews, and things that are totally cool that maybe we haven't even thought of yet. Maybe something that you suggest would be a great addition to our current offering. We're totally open to our community members' ideas, but most of all, it means actionable and strategic plans. It means courses of action that you can model from others using and benefiting from the community too. You can spend as much time or as little time at this as you want. Like I said earlier, it doesn't take a lot of time to learn how to implement what we have, and it takes even less time to execute each and every day. So here it is, everyone. Here's what you're going to get. This is everything you're going to get today. You're going to get the masterclass on systematic investing, an $8.99 value. Access to 4 daily strategy scans, $4,800 value. 1 year of silver license of Alera Portfolio Manager for 1 live trading account, $99.99 value. Trading and investing automation for AmiBroker, a $297 value. Complete AmiBroker code for 3 strategies, almost $1,500 of value. You're going to get access to all new Systematic Investors Group Pro Strategy scans, education and research as they become available. We put a value of about $3,600 on that because we have 3 strategies coming out very soon. Total value, $11,192.99. Now, obviously, I'm not going to charge $11,192.99. But if I did charge you $11,192.99, and all the system did was teach you to understand and know if and when a trading or investing strategy could work and make money for you so that you don't waste any more time with losing strategies, if it finally helped you crack the market code, would it be worth $11,192.99? And if all this system did was give you 1, 2, or 3 strategies that you could use to be consistent and profitable for the rest of your life, and manage those strategies with a few mouse button clicks a day, so you had a free mind to do other things, knowing that your trading and investing was being taken care of, would it be worth $11,192.99? And if all this system did was teach you how to find the best systematic strategies that are a good fit for you and a good fit for your temperament and your personality, and allows you to execute them in less than 10 minutes a day, would it be worth $11,192.99? Would it? Now, I had 2 choices with this. I could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many of our systematic packages as possible. But the problem with that is I want to see you guys be successful, and I couldn't really stack on the value and work as closely with you. So I decided to go with a second option, which obviously requires a slightly higher investment on your side. But in exchange for that, we can dedicate more time, energy, and resources to help guarantee your success. So it will get you a higher return too. So if you had a systematic strategy today that was making money for you, what would it be worth to you? How much would you pay to finally have that one successful strategy? Okay, so you can probably see why people pay thousands of dollars for a weekend seminar hoping for the same result. Perhaps you've done this before and have been disappointed. I know fellow traders that have paid $2,500 to $5,000 for just a weekend course, and I know many of them. And they're still looking for the right answers. That Weekend Warrior course did not solve their problems. It didn't give them the answers they needed. But you can probably see why people pay over $10,000 for a similar result, because if they can get that result, it's not a cost, it's an investment. Would you agree? Now, you've already seen how the systematic program is worth $11,193. But because I want to see you all stop struggling with what you're doing now and find a new successful path with systematic investing and trading, I want to build a productive community, and I want to build a productive community of systematic investors. I'm going to give you a very special offer, an offer that doesn't just include a Weekend Warrior course, an offer that provides ongoing value, commitment, and engagement for 1 full year. Are you guys and gals all ready to see what that looks like? Are you all ready? All right. So here it is. Here's the price we're offering for you to join our systematic community and become a systematic investor with all the right tools and support you need to reach your goals. You can point your browser to the address at the bottom to sign up today. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. If you went to our regular website right now and we were to offer a monthly product like other sites do, even though they don't offer nearly the same services or value, they would cost at least $199 per month, which would be about $2,400 per year. But you still wouldn't get access to everything we're offering here today. You wouldn't get access to a free year of Alera Portfolio Manager. You would have to access that separately for at least $100 for the silver package and $899 for the platinum package. You also wouldn't get access to the 3 strategy systems code. That just would not be available when you come in as a monthly member. Because you've invested this time with me and you've proven that you really want to get this result and you're signing up for a full year, I'm making a special offer just for this webinar. When you make a commitment to join for the year, we can also commit to your success and provide you with all the value that you need to succeed. We're interested in building a community and long-term relationships, not just people that want to join and grab a few ideas and leave. Those people won't be successful because they're fly-by-nighters. They jump around instead of committing to a proven system and approach that requires a bit of time and consistency. If you were to hire a professional to do all this for you, it might cost you upwards of at least $10,000 to $20,000, if not more. And that would be for only 1 or 2 strategies. They would need to reinvent the wheel for you and then try to piece everything together. And it's doubtful that the technology solutions would be as clean and as polished and work as properly as ours, because our solutions are designed specifically for this purpose and battle tested already. And our team has an incentive to keep updating and improving all the tools that we offer for you, for our growing community, and because we use them ourselves. I've also considered that you're taking the time and the initiative to learn some stuff and do some stuff yourself, and we're giving you all the tools and resources to make it happen fast. So for that reason, you only pay $9.99. So at this point, you have 2 choices. Choice number 1 is to do nothing. Now, if you do nothing with the information you've learned over the last hour and decide not to take any action, what will you get? Nothing, am I right? Or you can choose to take a calculated leap of faith. Just test it out and see if it will work for you. Now, it's okay if this doesn't work for you because you're covered by a low-risk 2-week trial period. You can test drive our systematic service now and see if it will be a fit and work for you. You have nothing to lose except for a small trial period fee of $14.99 for the first 2 weeks. Now, why isn't the first 2 weeks totally free, you might ask? Well, because research shows and our experience has been that those who pay attention. If you make even a small financial commitment to something, then you're going to give it a better shot than having something absolutely free. So in fact, we're doing you a service so that you can get the most that you can possibly get out of this service. Just that small $15 fee can be the difference between your success and your failure. We aren't going to get rich off of a $15 fee, but it might just be the difference between your success and your failure. And that's what we're most concerned about, your success. You really have nothing to lose unless you feel that risking $15 is too much to bear. And if it is, then I suspect trading and investing might not be the right venue for your wealth building goals. So the real question is this: is it worth taking an educated risk of a few dollars and a few minutes of your time to check this out? Even if it only does half of what I've claimed today, it will pay for itself as soon as you take the time to move forward with a systematic approach and a systematic strategy, because you'll stop losing money with what you're doing right now and get on the right path. The same path that a lot of the big funds and players are using to reduce risk and consistently extract profits out of the markets every day. So let me show you what you're going to get one last time. Note that the items marked with 2 red asterisks become available only after the 2-week trial period, only if you decide to stick around. Okay, so this is what you're going to get. You're going to get the masterclass on systematic investing. You're going to get access to 4 daily strategy scans. You're going to get 1-year silver license of Alera Portfolio Manager for 1 live trading account. You're going to get trading and investing automation for AmiBroker. You're going to get complete AmiBroker code for 3 strategies. You're going to get access to all new SIG Pro strategy scans, education, research as they become available. Again, total value $11,193. Now, for those that have stuck around until now, thank you. And for your patience and interest, I'd like to reward you with a special bonus that I promised you at the beginning. For the first 10 people that are interested in trade automation and that purchase today using the coupon code, our team will work with you to set up all the pieces that you need to get started with automation. We currently charge $500 for the Done For You service, but by taking action today and being one of the first 10, it's included. Now, this is only for those that are serious about semi or fully automating their trading or investing workflows, okay? We realize not everyone will want to automate, and that's totally okay. It's totally cool. It's not absolutely necessary. You can totally make incredible use of our services without it. This is super helpful for those that want to manage multiple systematic strategies and take advantage of secret number 3 easily every day. This will help you get started on the automation path at the highest level we currently offer. We'll remove any and all technical hurdles that might interfere with your success. We'll help you to go through the process of how to choose the multiple strategies that you want to trade and invest with. Then we'll help you to set up those same strategies on your own computer or cloud instance of, for example, Amazon EC2 with Alera Portfolio Manager and configure the base setup. You'll just need to enter your own brokerage login information and a couple of other details for obvious reasons. Now, if you're using your own strategies in AmiBroker or other signal generation software, we'll help guide you through the final integration process to help you get your strategy set up as well. So this is not just for people that use the strategies available on our website. We'll help those that want to use their own custom strategies too. Does that sound fair? Does that sound fair, everyone? Okay, so how you make this work is when you check out our offer, make sure you just click on the Have a Coupon link on the first checkout page. Then add Done For Me, Done, the number 4 in me, into the coupon section. You'll notice, or you won't notice rather, anything different in your checkout except that maybe a 50 cent discount, which notifies us, but it will let us know in the back end that you're actually interested in this bonus offer so that we can follow up with you. This is something we're super happy to do for those of you who are, the first 10 action takers in order to help remove all of your technical hurdles. Does this sound fair? Does this sound fair, gang? Okay. Now, I also promised that I would tell you where you could get a couple of free strategy ideas. These are pro-level strategy signals that you can check out for ideas every day, or you can even implement them as I've done in my own trading. I have these 2 exact trading strategies running in a live money account taking trades on autopilot each and every day. It will take trades when the market conditions are right. Just follow the link on the screen to sign up for a free account in order to access them. Now, does everybody have that link? Does everybody have it? Okay. Now, don't forget, when you sign up as a free member, you also get access to our free content. We'll be adding more to this section soon too. You specifically don't want to miss our free backtesting mini course. This will help you figure out how to evaluate the performance of strategies. This is yours free just for staying with us this far, and we thank you for that. Okay, so here's what we're offering again. You're going to get the masterclass on systematic investing, $8.99 value, access to 4 daily strategy scans, $4,800 value, 1 year silver license of Alera Portfolio Manager for 1 live trading account, $99.99 value, trading and investing automation for AMI Broker, $297 value, complete AMI Broker code for 3 strategies, $1,500 value, access to all new SIG Pro strategy scans, education and research as they become available, $3,600 value for the price of $9.99. So now I've told you how the whole system works. I've shown you how you can achieve consistency and success in your trading or investing using a systematic approach. I've shown you that you need good, robust, systematic strategies to make this all work. But you know what? To be successful with this, you're going to need more than information alone. I know you can be successful with this system, but you're going to need some help. You're going to need to be part of a community that can support and provide help and guidance along the way, especially when you face challenges that the markets will throw at you from time to time. You'll have questions that need answering. You might have doubts when markets get crazy and volatile. We don't want to leave you on your own. And you might need a bit of help in the accountability department as well. Information alone won't cut it. If information were enough, you could have just turned to Google. You need a guide and team who have been there before and other systematic investors who can take you there right now. You need some implementation experience and help. Okay, everyone, when you sign up today, please don't forget about the special bonus if you're joining us live until the end, but only if you're serious about getting started with Alera Portfolio Manager and semi or full trade automation within the next month. Okay. So before I take some questions, I'd like to leave you with this. Once you've been through this training and have everything set up, you can say goodbye to the day-to-day stress of trading and investing and worrying about missing opportunities and investing your money efficiently every day. You'll never have to worry about being consistent again. You'll know that you're doing everything possible to get the best outcome possible. And you'll do much, much better than if you were sitting there trying to pull all the entry and exit trading levers for each and every trading decision you make every minute of the day. Believe me, I've been that trading monkey before, just pushing buttons and pulling levers, chasing moving stocks after they've made their moves, revenge trading, and everything in between. So I know how that works out. Believe me, I know how that works out. Can you imagine what life will be like when those things have instantly disappeared from your life? What will you do with all the extra time and energy? What will you do with the extra money you can make if you stick to a plan? And what will you do with the extra money that you save by sticking to a plan instead of losing money to emotional, knee-jerk reactions in your trading? Now, you might have noticed that when checking out that there are 2 SIG Pro member options. One is a Plus Silver APM license and one is a Plus Platinum APM license. The only difference between the two are the Alera Portfolio Manager versions that you get. The Silver version is a starter version of APM. It's for those that want to dip their toe in the market and the water and with automated investing and trade with up to 20,000 US dollars with real money to see how it can work for them. Now, the Platinum version is the full version of APM, no restrictions. For those that are 100% sure they want to do semi or fully automated trading or investing. Platinum has all the features and has no limitations. You can read more about the differences in the FAQs below the sign up page. But essentially, if you don't want to use APM at all, or if you want to try APM with a little bit of money and 1 or 2 strategies, go for the Plus Silver APM license for $9.99. If you want to trade more than 20K or an unlimited amount of money with multiple strategies and unrestricted use, go with the Plus Platinum APM license at $14.99. Okay, let's take some questions. All right, gang, that was I know that was a lot to digest in one sitting. So let's take questions. Does anybody have any questions? I hope that was helpful. I hope it exceeded your expectations in terms of what we're offering and in terms of automation and things like that. I know I can't think of anyone else who's really doing what we're doing, and I don't know if you guys really like understand or recognize that this kind of trading is really like institutional level. Like, I wasn't joking when I said that in the presentation. So I mean, guys, this is really what turned the corner for me. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't believe in it, because I struggled a lot with my trading. I struggled a lot with emotion. I almost threw in the towel a number of times. And honestly, like, I network with a lot of traders. Some of you guys are here with me today, and I appreciate it. I recognize you guys online, and I appreciate you coming here, Ken, Larry, Peter, especially Peter. I've known you for a number of years. You guys know that this hasn't been easy for anyone, and this is really what allowed me to keep going, guys. So so I hope that it can also help you in your trading and investing. So let's just look to see what questions we have coming through the feed. Dan's with us online today as well. Dan, feel free to jump in at any time if you want to add anything. I think another perspective will always be good. So let's see. Joseph asks, are there any members using non-Alera order management software or working toward creating a custom solution? So Joseph, I assume that's, is that a question for us? Like, I can tell you that there are other people using Alera Portfolio Manager with custom solutions, because Alera can accept signals from basically any software. I mean, you can generate signals from Python. You can generate signals from Gary generates his signals from C# using his own entire custom system, including his own backtesting software. I use AmiBroker, and that's why I developed a course for people that use AmiBroker, because I'm very active in the AmiBroker community. So I wanted to make it easy for people that use AmiBroker to be able to integrate and automate their multiple strategies. So does that answer your question? I mean, there are a lot of other people that are doing that. I know that the FX and crypto is in beta right now. So that obviously is not going to use AmiBroker. Let's see. So Joseph's also asking, are there weekly or monthly calls, chat for members to collaborate? Yeah, absolutely. We are planning to have strategy sessions and other sessions. Basically, what we'd like to do is get some people signed up that that are interested in collaborating in a group environment, sharing strategies, sharing ideas. We've got a team that can help lead that group, and we're going to see what you guys want. I mean, we've got a vision for the things that we're going to roll out. That's going to include regular education, regular strategy sessions as we come out with new strategies, reviewing people's challenge points, and doing things like that. So yeah, we're absolutely open to doing probably in the beginning more bi-weekly or monthly calls, but depending on the level of activity, we will definitely adapt to that. So yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, absolutely. Let's see, Bazi asks, how many strategies can you automate with Alera? As many as you can come up with, and as much as you have money available. So with Alera, you can run multiple strategies in one account. I think Dan is running about 6 strategies. I'm only running 2 right now, but I'm planning on adding another 3 within the next year. And I mean, you can run as many as you have money for, and you can also run multiple instances of Alera. We're offering 1 license with the with our offer here, but let's say if you had like 10 accounts and you had $1 million in each account, you could run Alera multiple strategies with 10 accounts and using 10 instances. So there's really no limitation to what you can do in that sense. Hope that answers your question. Okay, so Bazzi says, how do you control holdings across multiple strategies? Well, Alera does that. So what we do is we send absolutely all buy and sell signals. So the way it kind of works, I don't think I explained this, is when you've got a strategy, what we usually do is we pick a universe. So for example, the free strategies online, the RSI2 uses the NASDAQ 100, and it will generate all the buy and sell signals for the NASDAQ 100. So it doesn't matter when you come in to use that strategy, it'll start generating buy signals from the day that you enter, but it'll always generate all the sell signals so that no matter when you come in on those 100 stocks as a member or as somebody who wants to trade that strategy, it won't lose sync with where you're at. So if you come in and you start trading today, somebody started trading 2 weeks ago, if there's a sell signal for whatever you have, it will process that sell signal. Now, if there is, if you don't have that particular ticker symbol in your portfolio, it doesn't matter. Alera will just ignore it. Now, it will also do the same thing for different strategies. So let's say you get a buy signal for Apple, and you already have a strategy that has Apple, it will ignore it for the other strategy. So Alera Portfolio Manager will actually manage interference between strategies, and it won't let the signals get crossed so that other strategies are selling things that another strategy owns. Our other strategy, the Supercharged Momentum Trend, trades the S&P 1500. So you've got 1,500 potential stocks to trade, which is a very diverse index. It's got small caps, mid caps, large caps. It's actually a great index to trade, or a universe rather. And so it will manage all of that process as well. Okay, Joseph says, yeah, I was just concerned with the lack of futures availability. Yeah, it'll be available in the future. I mean, obviously the Alera team, like we're not Alera trading, but we love the technology so much that we said, hey, let us promote it to our community and give us an incentive to do that. Give us like a discount for our members to get them in because we want them using it. And they've done a lot of groundwork in order to be able to get stocks working in different countries. And now they're beta testing the FX and the crypto. So, you know, they're going to be adding a lot of things in the future. Guys, I was a beta tester of the software, and I can tell you that the level of development on the software is amazing. Like I paid, you might not know this, but I paid several $1,000s to automate my first strategy, and it was a custom system. If you listen to the video that I sent out leading into this webinar, you'll appreciate the fact that like I spent thousands of dollars on my first strategy. If I decide not to trade that strategy anymore, it's now a virtual brick. So that software, like with Alera, I can just reprogram the rules, or I can turn it on and off. I can add other strategies. Like the flexibility that it provides is amazing. And the way that Alera was developed, Alera Portfolio Manager was developed to just be like a glue program so that you can develop your strategies from anywhere. And I can now backtest my strategies and align my backtesting with my actual execution. So it's, I mean, I could go on for days about how helpful it is. And the price of the software is actually really reasonable when you consider that a custom strategy would cost you upwards of $10,000 just for one. So, so that's truth, guys. So Atul says, have you published results of these strategies? Yes. All of the strategies that we publish strategy scans for, all of the backtest results are updated monthly, and they are on our website. So you can see, you know, what the real drawdowns are, what the run-ups are, etc. And we'll be in the next week or two, I'll start releasing some of the, we'll have some strategy sessions where I'll be going through the actual rules and what the trades look like on charts and things like that. So if you guys sign up and stick around, we'll be releasing that. We'll kind of be dripping that out so that you guys can follow the logic and the progression of like how we develop the strategies, what the rules are, what the drawdowns are, like all of the logic of understanding how to wrap your head around looking at strategies. So that'll all be available, but you need to be in to see all that stuff, guys. So Thomas says, And since no one else has asked so far, I assume that trading options is also out of the question, correct? For the time being, it is. There are plans in the future. I can tell you that we are the systematic. So from an Alera portfolio manager standpoint, I think they have plans to integrate options in the future. From a systematic investors group standpoint, we're going to be looking at strategies that we can actually publish the underlying signals for and correlate the actual options trades that you would take. Obviously, those won't be automated for the time being, but that is on our roadmap. So I mean that's what I can offer you right now. Joseph says, is there any way to receive a SIG member discount on AMI broker courses, course purchases? So for those of you who know me, I also run amibroker-courses.com. That is one of my sites. I'm active in the AMI broker community, and I do run that official that learning site. That I mean, some of our course instructors, they obviously are not part of systematic investors group, so I would need to, speak with them. I might be able to do something for you. So what I'd suggest is if you're really interested in learning AMI broker and you want to make that part of your systematic learning process and journey, because we've decided at Systematic Investors Group to focus on some coding, but not to get really, really deep into coding, because we're expecting a lot of our members want to learn the process and how to integrate and apply the strategies and go into production, and not necessarily want to do a lot of the coding, although there will be some of you that do want to do that. We've tried to keep it higher level with Systematic Investors Group, although we are open to developing let me just say, a more technical aspect to the Systematic Investors Group. So what I would say is, Joseph, shoot me an email. Anyone else who's really interested in that, shoot me an email. You can get me at, I'll just put it in the chat here, Dave at Systematic, oh, I can't type apparently, systematic-investors.com or systematicinvestors@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Let me know what your intentions are, what you want to do, and I'll think about that, and I'll try and do something for you for sure. Okay, so Bazzi says, do you have both long and short strategies? So for the time being, Bazzi, I've focused, and most of the guys as well have focused on only long strategies. And the simple reason for that is there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to trade short certain stocks, because some things are hard to borrow, some things are not available. Sometimes, when markets get crazy, they actually put in the what is that rule called where they don't allow you to short stocks. Sorry, I've been talking for so long, my brain's a little bit fried. But they've got uptick rules, and they've got rules where you can't trade stocks short. So we definitely can develop strategies that do that, but there's no guarantee you're going to get filled. Long only strategies typically work the best. I can tell you from doing years of back testing, it's very difficult to develop short strategies that work well, even though, markets get crazy and they sell off. It's actually, the market has, 57% of the time has an upward drift. So it's very difficult to develop profitable short strategies. You won't see a lot of them out there in the market. And if you do, be very skeptical of them, because they've probably been optimized, and they've been curve fit and things of that nature. So unless you have the code yourself or trust the people that have developed the short strategies, be very skeptical of short strategies. Joseph says, thanks for explaining. Oh, you're very welcome, Joseph. Thanks for attending. Okay, guys, so I don't see any more chats coming through, questions coming through the chat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn to some questions that we received when we sent out the invites and during our Ask campaign. Excuse me, let me just get a quick drink of water here. So I'm going to go through some of those questions. If you have more questions, because I know some people on the webinar, they want these questions answered as well. If you have other questions, then just shoot them through and I'll check the chat in a little bit. So one of the questions was, so they said, so the feedback was time is the number one thing holding them back, and they don't have sufficient uninterrupted trading time. So, this is an honest question that we received. I hope I've answered this question and put to rest with an entire presentation that you all have the time, because you only need 5 or 10 minutes a day to make this work, to make this actually work for you once you get it all set up, right? Now, is there anyone that thinks they don't have the time to do this? I'll just ask those that are still here. If we give you strategies or you develop your own strategies, is there anyone that doesn't think they have the time to execute their strategies and give it 5 or 10 minutes a day of focus? I don't see anything coming through the chat, but I would suspect the answer is no. I can tell you that I really struggled with putting a process down, and I had I had a lot of things that I was juggling when I first started implementing my strategies, and being able to do it through Alera Portfolio Manager actually just changed everything for me. I wake up in the morning, I like to do a lot of market on open orders. So I'll just wake up and I'll make sure that my system is up and running and Interactive Brokers hasn't disconnected me. If they did, I just log back in and boom, I'm good to go. My strategies get executed. And I don't worry about it, right? Now, you can also run your strategies as or market on close orders. In fact, a lot of the strategies you can switch between market on open or market on close and take advantage of the auction process. And you get the same pricing that a chart would show you for the opening or closing price, and it lines up very well with your back test, and you don't get any slippage, which is amazing. So those you can take advantage of those processes. With limit orders, the orders get sent, like with the RSI 2 strategy, that's one of our free strategies. You send the order to the market, and if you lose connection, you're good. But managing the actual process, I think it'd be hard to argue that you don't have the time to do that with the Alera Portfolio Manager, especially switching between different strategies. You don't have to overthink it. Okay, so another question we received was developing systems across different market types. So yes, as long as you have the proper data and the broker that supports it, you can develop strategies for any market and run them simultaneously along with stocks. So, obviously certain things are not integrated yet with Alera Trading, but they will be probably in the near future. So Alera Trading is currently integrating FX and crypto. It's in beta stage, though it's not widely available just yet. Once it comes out of beta and they make it available, and they feel confident that it's robust and tough enough that it can deal with most situations and be stable. Rather, stable is a more accurate word. You'll be able to trade stocks, Forex, and crypto. Eventually, probably futures. Now, you can trade U.S. stocks, you can trade Indian stocks, and you can trade Australian stocks at the present time. So let's see here. So Bazzi asks, did your pro strategies get out completely out of market during COVID? Yeah, all of the strategies eventually stopped out and got out of the market. I was trading the 2 free strategies at the time. And I think I took about an 8% or a 10% drawdown on a combination of both the free strategies. And they got out of the market pretty quickly because they react pretty quickly to the market, especially the supercharged momentum trend strategy will get out really quickly and within a few days, and it will not take new trades, as well as the RSI 2 will not take new trades, but the stops are a little bit wider than the supercharged momentum trend. But they took about an 8 to 10% drawdown, which was actually really, really good when you consider the market went down about 30 or 35% pretty quickly. So Joseph asks, does Alera support intraday trade execution too? Now, I'm not that familiar with the API, but they've recently introduced an API. Maybe Danny can speak a little bit to this. They've recently introduced an API that will allow you to do, I guess, what I would call more event-based trading. All the stuff we've been talking about today is all end-of-day trading for like swing trading, position trading, longer-term investment, or even just getting in the morning and getting out at the end of the day, which I would consider very short-term because you're only in and out for the day. You can do using this approach, but there is an event-based API that allows you to do real-time stuff. So I would say yes. Okay, now I think I might have turned, let's see here. Sorry, just bear with me a second, guys. Okay, sorry, Danny. I think maybe you might have tried to talk, but I've turned off your mic, and I apologize.
I'm
for
good
that.
now. I think I'm good now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So Danny, did you want to add anything to the to Joseph's question about intraday trade execution? Because I know you're a lot more technical than I am, and you're a lot more familiar with it.
Yeah, I've been trading intraday stocks for a while with Alera, and it has a mechanism to support intraday trading. It has to be up and running all the time, and you definitely need the right data feed. But with a new API, you can generate your signals with whatever software you're using and send them directly to Alera. Before, it was mostly saving them to a file and having Alera every minute wake up and get the signals and run them. So that was an option for intraday trading. Now anyone can send through the API at any time directly to Alera the signals. Alera is going to process them.
Awesome, thank you, Danny. Okay, so Bazzi asked, okay, I answered that, sorry. Thomas asked, can we assume that APM doesn't allow for fixed loss stops, or can these be entered as well? Yes, like APM allows you to override your signals and use a fixed stop loss and a trailing stop on a percentage basis. APM itself will override and allow you to do that. Now, what I usually do, and I think what most of the other guys usually do, is I program my stops into my strategy, and whether they're fixed stops or whether they're no matter what kinds of stops they are. But what I do is I do it on an end of day basis, because what I found personally through my own back testing is that it's better to usually stay out of the day-to-day volatility and to make decisions based on closing prices. Now, that's just an approach that I like because my back testing supports that on the many systems that I've programmed myself. It always makes more sense, or it has, at least up until now, to wait for the closing price and make decisions based on the closing price and not get whipsawed out of trades. So you're gonna have to wait till the end of the day to do it that way. But yes, you can absolutely use fixed stop losses. Like, for example, you could at the beginning of every day send out, I'm pretty sure you could send out your limit order stops, but then your stops are going to be active in the market, and other participants are going to be able to see them. Now, whether they're going to actually move the market, just to take out your stop is doubtful. But if there is a cluster of stops in a certain logical, let's say, support or resistance area, then I used to always think, before I started doing this, I used to always think that people were hunting my stops, but I guess it was just because I put my stops live in the market where logical support and resistance would be. So that would that's what would be the result of that. But yeah, you basically can run your stops any way you want, whether you're doing it end of day like we mostly do, or if you're using the live, the API, which is a little bit more complicated because you have to make sure that everything, your data feed is in sync all the time. I don't recommend live intraday trading for most people, because I think you're really dealing with some really big players that have put millions of dollars into the market, and you're trying to compete You're trying to compete with whales. I mean, these guys are, they've got co-located servers. They've got all of these, this crazy technology that is just something I don't think you want to mess with. And that's just my own personal opinion based on what I've studied, my experience, what I've seen. I found that it's a lot calmer, a lot easier just to deal with end of day trading. You can do swing trading. You can be in from one day to several weeks to a month. You could have portfolios of from 5 to however many stocks you want, and you've got enough opportunities and enough trades um, to take advantage of the law of large numbers. And it just works so much better. And you're in a trade for 5 days. You can get trades that are, I think I got out of one trade in with the free system. It was up 20 something percent. It got out at 18% today. So you're not going to get an 18% trade in one day, unless you're really lucky and you've got a really high momentum stock. But if you're in a trade for a couple of days, yeah, that's quite possible. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. So in short, Thomas, the answer is yes. Ivor says, did the strategies get back in early enough after the March drawdown to benefit from the bounce? It didn't capture the entire bounce. And the way I program my own strategies personally, I use specific, what we'll call regime filters. And the challenge with using a regime filter is that you'll get out of the market and then you don't get in at the bottom, unless your strategy code deals with that effectively. I find it's very difficult to program strategies that get you out early and then get you back in early. So usually, you're dealing with markets that are in long-term uptrends and you're exploiting those kind of markets. You can, obviously you can make whatever rules you want. You can develop any kind of trading system you want, any kind of rules you want. I've never personally been able to find a strategy that trades V bottoms very well. But what it does do is it trades most of the time well. Those few times where you get these kind of V bottoms, the kind of like trending systems that I tend to focus on, they don't take great advantage of those characteristics of the market. But like I said, we're always developing new strategies all the time. We're going to be getting strategy development from a number of different developers in our community. So those are things we can absolutely look at. Okay, I don't see any more questions rolling through, so I just want to answer a few more questions that we have that came through through the email. So there was a question about platform, exchange, and other costs. So everything we've offered you today is what you need to get up and running for the first year. Other costs that you might encounter are brokerage fees for each trade. There are a few scenarios, but you can see brokerage fees on IB's site. They're pretty low. I mean, they're usually from a penny per share and sometimes like a few dollars per trade. There's been a race to the bottom for obviously for brokerage fees, so they've come down quite a bit. But that's basically all you're going to need, right? You're going to have all of your setup, and then you're going to have your your actual trading fees. You don't need to have a live data feed for the end of day strategies that we're focusing on right now. But if you do, I think the broker like IB charges $20 or $30 per month for live data, but you need to check directly with IB because obviously those are not our specific services. I can run my strategies, and I have, without using a live data feed. It cuts back on my costs. Okay, so what is the difference about systematic trading compared with the option trading that I do now? Well, so that depends on what kind of option trading you do, whether you're buying calls, selling puts, using spreads, etc. Generally, the first difference is that you're trading the underlying, in this case, the actual stocks. So you don't have to try to figure out like all the Greeks, the deltas, the theta, time decay, all those different things. The main difference is that the software models are finding a condition in the market that is expected to precede a profitable trade with a certain probability of success. And you'll understand that more when we talk more about back testing, right? We'll show you those stats. So then you just want to keep exploiting those opportunities or those trades repeatedly in order to use the law of large numbers in your favor and get as close as possible to those probabilities in your stated or your back tested edge. So you generally aren't going to be as leverage trading systematically as you would with options, although it is possible if you use margin or trade 2 and 3 time leveraged ETFs with systematic trading, but typically you're going to be more leveraged with options. So currently our systems don't include any leveraged ETFs, although that might change in the future. They could be added. I'm looking at a couple strategies myself that do trade leveraged ETFs, both long and short, short long systems, and just trading a couple of instruments. So that's something that's in development that I'm looking at personally. The other major difference is that it's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot easier to manage on the daily because, like on a day-to-day basis, I mean by saying on the daily, because APM can manage the entire process, including position sizing. So you don't have to try to correlate different data points, expiration dates, figure out when to close one option leg versus another if you've got a spread or if you're doing a straddle, so you're not trying to, you don't have to like deal with different option legs and things like that, and many other option management complexities. I know for myself, it's difficult to keep track of all the different options trades you might have on. It's really much faster and easier to manage. Like I know with myself, I usually have, not usually, but I'll have up to, let's say with 2 strategies, I'll have up to about 40 positions on, right? Which gives me a good diverse range of stocks that, if I have one stock that, let's say, gaps down, 20, 30, even 50%, I've never had 50%, but I've had stocks gap down 30% on me. That is less than a 1.5 or a 1% loss to my total account. So that's why I like to trade like this. I like to position size like this, because stocks are really subject to news and volatility and, earnings reports. And, you can get some stocks that really gap up, but, you're going to get stocks that gap down. So if you're trading like a couple of stocks with most of your account, it's really going to hurt. The way we trade with, using 20 positions or 10 positions or what have you per strategy, per portfolio, it really minimizes those kinds of, pardon my language, but those kinds of ass kickings. It really minimizes those and it mitigates those risks. And that's all has to do with position sizing, risk management, and things of that nature that we incorporate into our own trading systems. So another question, how do you get consistent strategies over time? Well, typically you start out with strategies that have backtested consistently over time to begin with. Then what you do is you take advantage of secret number 3, which we covered, system diversifying, in order to improve consistency and smooth out your overall equity curve by combining multiple systematic strategies. So that's the approach we take, and that's the approach we'll be teaching to the members of the Systematic Investors Group. Okay, so another question, do I need to code? Absolutely not. Unless you want to develop your own strategies, I code, Dan codes, Gary codes, a lot of other guys that I know in the ME broker community code, but you absolutely do not have to code. And even if you do want to develop your own strategies, there are coders out there that can help if you don't want to become a coder, either in the community or, you can hire coders. Of course, most charge a fee like any other service or business. But if you're looking for, a professional level coder that can work with you, you can just email me. I dropped my email in the chat at dave@systematic-investors.com. You can use systematicinvestors@gmail.com, or just send me a message through the website contact page. I can help you get oriented. If I know some guys and girls out there, you've got strategy ideas that you want to spend time on. You don't want to spend the months that it might take to learn how to code and stuff like that. There's absolutely people out there that can help you. Okay, so I know our timer ran out, and that's fine, guys, because I can keep going until you're sick of me, and keep answering a few more questions. We still got 17 people on the call, so on the webinar. So I'll just finish answering these questions, and I'll come back to the chat in a few seconds, a few minutes. Okay, so sizing correctly. So a question about sizing correctly. So in all of our years backtesting, we haven't seen any evidence that suggests that there's a better way to position size than taking a portfolio of, let's say, X number of stocks and just breaking it into equal weighted positions. So for example, I've had this conversation with some other, high level system developers that actually have more experience than I do. And, they've agreed with this point. So for example, using 20 stocks for a strategy portfolio and allocating 5% to each position. That's what I tend to do a lot. I find that a lot of strategies work well with 20 stocks and allocating 5% to each position. Many other system developers and traders would tend to agree with this. So the example I gave earlier, let's say I'm trading only one systematic strategy and I'm allocating 5% using 20 stocks. Let's say I've got $100,000 and I've got 5% in each position. Now, if I get a gap down of a stock that gaps down 50%, and that's a horrible butt kicking, right? 50% loss in one opening, one market day open, one gap opening, that would represent a 2.5% loss to my entire portfolio. So, how many people would really cry if their portfolio was down 2.5%? If I had two positions on and there was a 50% gap down, that would really hurt, right? That would really hurt. And I've done that before. That's why I know it would hurt. But I learned from that. So that's the approach that we take for position sizing most of the time. We keep it super simple. So for this reason, we don't add extra complexity where it isn't needed, right? A lot of good systems are just simple, robust, rules-based strategies. They don't have to be overly complicated. You could explain them to a 5-year-old and they could follow the rules. So the point is to be consistent and disciplined with the rules. So Alera Portfolio Manager can manage this process automatically and entirely seamlessly. So you don't need to figure out how much you should allocate to each trade. It's usually determined during the strategy development stage. And then in production, you set up your parameters using APM and it's done for you automatically. That's essentially how sizing takes place. Okay, another question. This is, I think, an important one. How to eradicate emotion. Okay, guys, this is a tough one. All of the things that we showed you today should help reduce emotion a lot. And I know, like I think it might be from my background as maybe a hot-blooded Italian. I used to get really emotional and, I would bang desks and smash keyboards and stuff like that when I got angry when I first started. Obviously, I don't do that now. I'm much more measured and calm. But first, knowing what to potentially expect by studying the backtest results, which we teach you on the inside, and the drawdowns will be the first step, right? That will give you a better idea of what to expect so that you can be prepared emotionally and mentally and emotionally, okay? Second, having a process to execute your trades will remove the day-to-day execution emotion and what I call the day-to-day decision fatigue. So for me, I can only make so many good decisions in a day. That's why you see a lot of, presidents and people like that, like, business owners of like Apple, Steve Jobs, they always wear the same, what I'll call uniform. It's one less decision they need to make in a day. So by removing the decision fatigue, and Alera Portfolio Manager and having systematic strategies will do that. It helps tremendously with emotion. I know it has with me personally. But you can't eliminate emotion entirely. Emotion in trading is like developing a muscle. You just have to get used to it. It can be reduced a lot, but if you encounter a period of drawdown, which all traders do from time to time, myself included, excuse me, you'll still most likely be battling emotions during that period of time. So having multiple strategies should also help. And that's why we do that. Having a community of like-minded traders will also help, right? Because you can bounce ideas off them. You can work together as a team to work through these challenges. But emotions are something that just need to be dealt with, even though they can be minimized. Knowing what to expect will definitely be the starting point, though, and all trading and investing contains risk. So if you seek returns, there's always some risk. If you don't like risk, don't trade, period. And that's not entirely without emotion. So let's see here. One other question, and then I'll jump back over to the chat. How would you recommend one backtest a portfolio of loosely correlated strategies in AmiBroker? So we use AmiBroker a lot in our R&D work. I do specifically. Dan does as well, although Dan can program like a bunch of different languages. So he can learn a language in a weekend because he's a software engineer, right? So our main focus with SIG isn't to teach people how to code, although there will be some of that, but we're more focused on delivering the overall systematic process and the result and the implementation of strategies for our members. So we spend a lot of time on the concepts and the implementation of real world trading and investing strategies. That's mostly where we're focused. But we will be talking about this and specifically about combining multiple strategies on the inside of our service. If you're specifically interested in coding concepts, then you might also want to check out our sister site, amibroker-courses.com. There's specifically a software tool there, which was developed by my colleague Matt Radke, which is called the Equity Combo Tool, and it comprises both a course and code to allow you to do that. And we will be using that tool and some other tools that we have that aren't available outside of the Systematic Investors Group community in order to be assessing, those scenarios where you want to correlate a bunch of different strategies and measure the correlation and see what the net effect is of trading multiple strategies on your bottom line. So we will be doing that work. Okay, so let me just jump back to the chat and see if there's any other questions. Okay. So Ivor says, if I want to try paper trading using APM, do I need to also open an IB account? So that's a good question, Ivor. I'm actually not entirely sure. I know that you definitely need a paper trading account. What I'm not clear on is whether you need to actually go through the account opening process with IB, or if they will just allow you, like just assign you a paper trading account just to try it out. So I know, like, I had opened my account when I accessed my paper trading account. And in fact, I leave my paper trading account open, and I've got 2 instances of Alera Portfolio Manager running on my production computer. I've got one that does paper trading so that I can test strategies in live environments, and I've got a production one which trades real money. So I've got 2 instances running, and I run those simultaneously. For people that are not sure if they want to do this, I mean, if you go to our website, you can watch a video on how to set up our 2 free strategies and get a free account of Alera Portfolio Manager for paper trading. And then you'll have to work out the paper trading details with IB, because I'm not entirely sure on how they do that without opening a full account, but you can ask them. And then you can try it out and you can run it live and see if it's for you. So Peter says, so position sizing based on relative volatility doesn't enhance returns. Now, Peter, I haven't done a lot of work on that. I know the Turtle Traders did that kind of volatility based normalizing when they traded futures. I haven't done a lot of that, but I know from the work that I have done, I haven't seen an advantage. Now, maybe Danny can speak a little bit more to that, because I know Dan did a lot of work on that. Dan, can you kind of weigh in on that question for Peter? I think I need to turn on your mic again. Hang on a second. Okay, Dan might have stepped away for a minute. Let's see. Yeah, Dan might have stepped away for a minute. So when he comes back, we'll hit him up for that. Or Peter, you know what you could do is, feel free to. Okay, so Dan says he can't unmute. Okay, so just bear with me a sec. Ask to unmute.
Hey guys.
Okay,
Hey,
great.
Dave.
Great, thanks, Dan.
So what was the question?
So the question was, so Peter's asking, so position sizing based on relative volatility doesn't enhance returns.
That's a tough one to answer. That's
yeah,
absolutely
like I know you and I've had this conversation a few times, Dan. I know, I don't remember all the details of our conversation, but I do know that we both came to the conclusion that just using, um, um, just using a equal weighted position sizing, you don't really get an advantage getting more complex. I've also had this conversation with Alan Clement at Helix Trader, and Alex, or Alan rather, sorry. Alan is of the opinion that, yeah, you know what, it's equal weighted position sizing is, you don't need to get more complicated than that. There's really no great advantage. I remember that you said you had tried volatility based volatility based position sizing at one time, and you did volatility
Yeah, I
targeting.
try volatility targeting, and that seems to be working, which is a little bit different than sizing the positions based on relative volatility. Volatility targeting means basically making sure your portfolio has a certain risk based on volatility of all the components.
Mm-hmm.
So you would adjust your portfolio every day based on the past volatility, the historical volatility. So if volatility is very high, you would reduce your position sizing every day. That's called volatility targeting, and it's fairly difficult to implement for a retail investor because, in theory, you would have to change the position sizing every single day.
Right,
Now,
and that gets expensive, right?
it does. It does. Now, looking at relative volatility and going, yes, this position is, this symbol has a higher volatility than the other one, so I'm going to allocate a little bit less. It has to be backtested. I've done some backtesting. In some cases, it helps. In some, it doesn't. So I wouldn't have a clear answer to that, but depending on the strategy, it might help.
Good stuff, Dan. Thanks. Okay, guys. So I'm going to jump back to some other questions we got online. Let's see. So language and platform. So we use AMI Broker a lot. Like I use AMI Broker personally. I use it myself. But some of us also use C# and Python. Dan, for example, can program AMI Broker, Python, and C# all in the same day, actually. So the language or tool, and I know Gary uses C#. The language or tool is not always important. It more so depends on which tool will fit the objective or the job. So our strategy signals can be generated by any language, and Alera Portfolio Manager can interface to accept and process them. So the language is not, like, you could even use Java. I mean, it's not that important. We use AMI Broker because it is well supported, has an active community, and it has good data feeds, and it has a good stable development path. I mean, it's been around for, God, I want to say 15 years at least. I mean, it was first developed on the Amiga, for those that remember the Commodore Amiga, and then it was ported over to the PC, and it's been under constant development for years. So for a retail trader that wants to have a stable portfolio level development and backtesting platform, you can't beat AMI Broker. You just can't. With Python, you got to put libraries together and deal with all kinds of other complexities. AMI Broker is out of the box. I mean, it works. Okay, so human resource to manage or monitor cloud-based algorithmic trading. So I'm assuming with this question, you think you need to hire someone to do this for you. You don't. You can run Alera Portfolio Manager in the cloud on an AWS instance with Amazon, and you can have it linked to strategies like our strategy scans from our community, and it will do the heavy lifting for you. You can easily manage this on your own. You can even manage this process on a local computer, which I do, although I'm going to be moving some of my stuff into the cloud so that I can just pull the strategies. I know Dan does that as well. He's set up a cloud instance. When we can start traveling again, and we're able to do that, which trading affords you the ability to do, having it in the cloud and being able to check in and making sure it's stable, you can do that. You can do it on a local computer. We show you how to do it in the AMI Broker automation course with a local computer, and generating your own signals or using the strategy scans. It doesn't matter. I personally don't use, when I was generating my signals locally, I didn't use a cloud instance simply for the fact that, I mean, if you've ever asked AWS how they price these services, like I think I was paying only about $20 a month with my custom strategy. But when you start, downloading your own data and you need a 4 GB database and you've got a lot more bandwidth going through and more processing power when you're also running AMI broker and things like that, they could never give me a clear answer on how much it would cost. And I really didn't want to experiment with that. I figured, you know what, I'm home most of the time. I'll just run my local signals on my production computer. But it's super simple to move your, if you're using our strategy scans, it's going to cost you about $20 a month to run it on a cloud instance with AWS, because you can use just the basic EC2 cloud instance, because APM and IB Gateway are fairly lightweight and they don't pull a lot of data. They just pull the signals every day. Okay, so that's why we say using Alera Portfolio Manager is like having your own trading desk working for you, because you don't need somebody to manage this process for you, and it can handle as much trading as like 20 traders could do easily. Okay, so one of the questions was getting good quality support without paying an arm and a leg. They fear using the official AMI broker forum. Okay, so I assume that this is specifically for coding, and I've heard from several people, this is not new, that the official AMI broker forum intimidates people. And I know that. For those that don't know, I also run an AMI broker user group, a monthly group. So I'm familiar with those issues. So first I'll say that we're making a very reasonable offer. You can do this starting at $14.99 for 2 weeks. See if you like it. I hope a lot of you guys do try it and see for yourself if it makes sense for you. And then starting at $9.99 for an entire year, which is really quite reasonable. So the community and our team specifically will naturally provide support as part of your membership. I mean, we're going to be active with you guys every day. If you want AMI broker support specifically, there are a number of different options. You can hire a programmer. You can ask other AMI broker programmers in the SIG community, Systematic Investors Group community. I'm also involved in the AMI broker user group. So you can just email me and let me know what you're specifically looking for, and I'll help guide you in the right direction, the right path. Okay. Okay, so another question, I lack new ideas to create consistently profitable strategies. So this is one exact reason why Systematic Investors Group exists. A good portion of our time and resources beyond our initial launch here, which required a lot of work, will be spent in this exact area of developing and testing new strategy ideas, which we'll be presenting to members as they're released all the time. Okay, so you don't need to do all of the strategy development yourself. That's why we're putting a team together. Okay, how can I manage it on a day-to-day basis? Well, with what we've shown you using Alera Portfolio Manager, it's the easiest and best way to manage multiple systematic strategies in 5 or 10 minutes or less each day. So APM is what we use and why we use it. Okay, and you can do that. You can, like what I do is I wake up, I come to my computer around 8:30. I just click on a couple buttons and make sure it's pulling the strategies for the day. I make sure it's connected to interactive brokers. It's just like red light, blue light, and you can see it right away in the software. And if it's not, I just do those adjustments and relog in. Within 2 or 3 minutes, I walk away from my computer and I come back later, right, when I'm ready to start working. So and it just does all the trading. So most of the work is just making sure it's connected and your computer didn't, the power didn't go off. And if the power did go off, well, you just boot up your computer, you load up APM, you load up IB Gateway, you connect them, and you're back up and running. If you miss the actual signals, all you need to do is click one button and it'll repull the signals and reprocess everything. Okay, so it's pretty flexible that way, and it's hard to make mistakes. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is a question that this one really touched close to home. Let me just take a quick drink before I answer this, guys. So the question is, or the comment is, that there's fear that that we're at all-time highs and that an unprecedented bear market will soon be upon us. Okay, now listen, this is a common fear and actually one that I struggle with a lot too. You'll notice if you go through the blog posts on the site, which are free, you'll notice that I put out a couple of blog posts there, and I actually go through that exact same struggle and how I dealt with it in those blog posts. So that will help your thinking there. And if you're not sure where they are, just email me and I'll send you the links directly. So the reason is that I cut my teeth during the last global financial crisis. That's when I really learned most of what I learned, because I started in late 2006, or I was doing a lot of trading in 2007, 2008. So I really cut my teeth during the last global financial crisis, and it was a painful lesson for me personally. I'm always thinking the rug will be pulled out from underneath me at any given time. So I think this was just maybe a trauma that stayed with me ever since. It actually took me years to overcome this fear, right? Because I made a lot of mistakes and lost a lot of money during that time. And that was my tuition for learning how to, how the markets worked and how to trade. So that's why I personally design all of my strategies to have uncle points. Some people ask me, well, what were the drawdowns? Well, I had an 8 to 10% drawdown when the COVID when the COVID sell-off came, and that was totally cool. I was out of the market really quick. So they get out when things turn into downtrends and then stop taking trades entirely until the market conditions return. That's how I develop strategies, and most of the guys that I work with develop strategies. They use a lot of what we call regime filters in the programming logic, so that they know like when things are in uptrends or in downtrends, and to get out or stay out, or just not get back in, or when to get back in, right? They're called regime filters for those that aren't familiar with that. So that's not to say they won't take drawdowns, right? But they'll limit those drawdowns versus what the market might experience. And as an example I just gave you. So another comment about this is that whenever you get in and the market's moving higher, you can often be getting in at what looks like the highs. So say, for example, in any stock, yet it can go tens and hundreds of percent higher over the next year or two. You see this with stocks all the time. Like, take a look at a stock when it first breaks out at the time, and then fast forward, at the time when you look at it, it's like, oh my God, it's at all-time highs. I can't get in. But then fast forward 1 year after it's gone up another 50%, and you're sitting there scratching your head saying, well, why didn't I just get in? Right? That happens to stocks all the time. So it always looks like it's like specific stocks always look like they're at the top at the time, because it's always at the current highest point. And that's just the reality. This is just something you have to get comfortable with. You can always start out using only a small percentage of your entire investment account, and just keep adding size as the market proves itself, or as you become more comfortable too. So I talk about, like I mentioned, I talk about this in one of my blog posts on the Systematic Investor site. I think the blog post is called Getting Ready to Go Live from Auto Paper Trading. It's either in that one, or it's in the follow-up post in the video that both of them are blogs, but they're also videos. So the other one is called I Just Went Live with Automated Trading Strategies. So you can find those on the blog section of our site. They're free videos, free blog posts. You can see me use some of my technical analysis skills to decide, man, do I want to get in the market? If I do, how am I going to do all of this? Because it seems like we're at a high point in the market. So you can have a look at that. That might help in your thinking there. So it's okay to start small with a portion of your total portfolio and build from there, because you have to start somewhere. I mean, that's just the reality. You have to start somewhere. Okay, so let's see. We've still got a few people on the call, guys. Let's see. I've got a few more questions here that were sent in. So developing my own comprehensive approach based on knowledge and experience gathered, question mark. So for sure, you should always spend time testing your ideas if that's what interests you. But let me also say that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use some of our strategies too. But if you want to wait until you develop the holy grail trading system, which I did for years, I can tell you from experience, you're going to lose months and possibly years of time that you could allow other trading strategies the time to compound earnings and results. So that's why we said in the presentation that having good systematic strategies now beats having the best strategies in the future. Because with time and compounding, you don't need to have the best strategies, you just need to have good strategies. And you can always, change them out in the future. But like, that there's that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is to do it now, right? So another question, when I test systems, I get lack of consistency in results. So this gets more into the more technical aspects of strategy development, which we'll be covering on the inside. But generally speaking, having inconsistent results can be a number of things, from improper technology platform, which is something I experienced when I first started. And then I had to figure out, to use AmiBroker because it was the only true development platform that allowed for multiple portfolio level trading and back testing, right? So to data provider inconsistencies, to improper coding assumptions, to curve fitting and over optimization. So there's a number of things that can cause this, which is why we've been developing strategies for years and have team members to bounce ideas off of, and to also peer review strategies for logical errors. So a lot of times what will happen is, if we come up with a good strategy idea, I'll say, hey, Dan, can you take a look at the code for this? Can you take a look at the strategy? Or, I'll give you the rules. Can you code it up? And we'll compare results, right? So that we can figure out if we've over-optimized, if we've got logical errors in our approach, et cetera. So there's a lot of things it can be. And I mean, we could talk a whole session about that. Excuse me. Okay, so let me just say, Peter says, Dave, great presentation. It's been great to watch your development over the years and get to this point. Solid offering with great team. Thank you, Peter. And I hope to see you soon, man, because I enjoy. Peter's one of my friends from the trading community, guys. He's a quite experienced discretionary trader, uses technical analysis, and we've known each other for years. And we talk trading every time we get together. So, or if we happen to be at the same meetings, which we often are. Okay, so another question. I think this is the last question, guys. Investing and saving is part of my life, and learning must be constant. So I agree with this statement wholeheartedly. And my own personal approach is to constantly learn and constantly invest as well. I do it not only in the markets, I also do it in real estate, because I'm an investor, through and through, and I like to be diversified, and I like to look for opportunities in different things, as long as I can be focused enough, right? Which this approach allows me to do. So I can say that we're all on a learning journey at Systematic Investors Group. And for those that want to constantly learn new things, we can go on that journey together. It's not absolutely necessary to constantly learn new things in order to be an investor or trader, because having strategies or access to strategies, like the ones we provide, will allow you to do this in a few minutes each day. But there will also be the opportunity to learn all the time within the community, through communications and the learning materials that we'll put out regularly, new strategy ideas, which we learn from, just lessons that every once in a while the market will, no matter how experienced you are, will hand you a lesson. I'm sure we'll see some of those guys, collectively as a group, and we'll get stronger from that. We'll learn together and we'll grow. So you can spend, I know that myself and the other team members we all consider ourselves, myself, Dan, Gary, and some of the other members, we all consider ourselves lifelong learners and students of the markets. That's why we don't call ourselves gurus. Dan's been doing this over 20 years. I've been doing this since 2006, 2007. I consider myself a long-term student of the market. I don't consider myself a guru. There's a lot of people that know a lot, and the market's always handing you lessons. So as we said in the presentation, you can spend as much time or as little time on this as you want or need to. It's really up to you. So guys, with that being said, that's what I've got for you today. If there's no other questions, guys, I'm gonna suggest that you take a trial of what we're offering you today. It's only $14.99 for 2 weeks. You can, you'll be reminded before the 2 weeks is up. You can cancel if it's not the right thing for you. We're just getting started here in terms of our offering, but what we've done is we've put together an offer for you that all things being equal, you take the master class on systematic investing, it will get you oriented to get started. You have access to four strategies to hit the ground running. You've got 1 year of access to Alera Portfolio Manager. You can paper trade it for the time being as well. You can take the automation course if that's what you want to do. Like basically, guys, you have access to enough to get started. And then once we get the community going, we're going to take you down the balance of the learning path. And that's going to start with going through specific strategies, going through specific concepts, and taking you down that road and building you up so that you're a confident, systematic investor. And, we'll help you with your own strategies. We'll help you with the strategies we're coming out with. And we'll take that journey together. So we wanted to offer you an irresistible offer that would give you everything you needed to get started, to be successful, to be consistent, and to get going. And then, there's just so much more that we're going to do on the inside with you guys, even over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to suggest that you just get started. Don't mess around. Just, I know that your time is your most valuable asset. And for me, I would rather pay money than give up my time if I don't think something is going to help me. But, I honestly think that this will be a worthwhile use of your time. And, $14.99 to get started for 2 weeks, it's a no-brainer, guys. You can get started, hit the ground running, and then we'll just go from here, guys. We'll help you jump over that cliff. Okay. We'll help you reach that mountain. So are there any other questions, guys? Or, should I point you to the Get Started page here, www.systematic-investors.com/go. You can decide which way you want to go. If you have any questions, if you need to let this settle for a day and you have any questions, send me an email, in the next day or so, and let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what your challenges are. Let me know if you still think that this can't work for you. Maybe there's something that we haven't covered in the 3 hours or so we've been doing this. I appreciate you guys staying this long. I hope it's time well spent. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap up this presentation. I appreciate you coming here. Even if you don't decide to join our community, get the free strategies, guys. We publish the strategy scans every day. You'll get ideas for 2 really decent, really good strategies. So that'll kind of keep you in the loop and keep you, having trading ideas every single day, if that can help you. Even if you don't join our community, I want the systematic approach to change your life. It's the new opportunity that I think 95% of traders need in order to get going. Now, I do know a few people that are successful discretionary traders, but I'll tell you, they're really outliers because of all of the successful discretionary traders that I know that are either day traders, like intraday traders, or even swing traders. I can probably count them on one hand. And I've networked with hundreds of traders over the years. I ran my own trading floor too, guys. So I know what I'm talking about in this respect. Of that handful of traders that I do know that can do this, I can't really say with any certainty that I know any of them that can actually transfer their skills. And what I mean by that, they can't actually sit another trader down and tell them how to be a successful trader, and teach them so that they can do it. Systematic investing, systematic trading, you can transfer these skills because they're rules-based. You just need to follow the rules. You just need to follow the processes. That kind of trading is really traders that are good in that respect, have good instincts. They're wired for it. It's like when you see the best tennis players in the world or the best martial artists in the world, they have a certain work ethic and everything else, but they're people that can actually do that at a high level. Not everybody is wired to be able to do this at a high level. And to be honest with you, if you decide that this is working for you and you want to scale this and you want to say, okay, well, I tried it with 20,000, it works. Now I want to put in 200,000, 400,000, 2 million. There's a limit to what you can actually execute as a discretionary trader, there's no limit to what you can do as a systematic investor. That's why a lot of the big players are doing it, are doing this. Like they're systematic. They're systematic algos, they're systematic quants, they're systematic traders and investors because they can actually execute large quantities of money with this approach and do it in a way that is structured, it's repeatable, it's measurable, and they can actually execute it. There, you know, the days of having tons of discretionary traders at prop trading firms, that's a dying breed. I mean, it's just not really happening anymore. The computers are taking over. I mean, that's just it. And it's not only just computers, it's having the actual rules-based systems that you can actually be consistent and disciplined when things are going well and when things are not going so well. Because unless you can do things consistently and repeatably and have that emotional discipline, you're never going to make it as a trader or investor. I know that as a fact. That's the only reason I'm still able to do it. And there's not many people that are actually wired to be able to do that. It's counterintuitive to our millions of years, or if you only believe in thousands or hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. It's contrary to our amphibian brain, to our monkey brain, however you want to call that. You know, the fight or flight response. It's trading is really contrary to essentially the way we're wired. So unless you're able to transcend that type of trading, you know, and that type of thinking and that response, I know some people that are able to do it. They're magnificent. They're magnificent people that, you know, when I talk to them about how they do it, the techniques they employed, it's amazing. But it's not necessarily something that you can transfer in terms of skills. Let me just say that. So, gang, Tom, I see you're just joining us now, and I apologize. We've been going for about 3 hours and 15 minutes, or at least 2 hours and 45 minutes. I might have opened up the room a bit early, so my timer's still going. Tom, we're just going to wrap things up here. But having said that, you've registered for the meeting. I'll send you guys out a recording of this full meeting so that you can, you know, watch it again. You can digest it. You can fast forward. You can, you know, I know it's hard to take notes for things like this, and when concepts are new, you really need to let it settle and digest and maybe sleep on it. Having said that, I'd suggest you sign up today, you know, spend the $15 for 2 weeks, and then decide if it makes sense for you. Okay, guys, so having said that, I'll just leave the room open for maybe a couple more minutes in case there's any other questions. Guys, do you have any other questions? While I let you ponder that, I'll just take a quick drink. Okay, gang. So I think with that, we'll call it a night. I thank you very much for spending this couple of hours with us. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Gary, for you know, for participating and for, you know, letting the group know your experience with systematic investing, how it's changed your approach, how it's changed your investing, how it's changed your life. I know you guys well, and I know, you know, how important this is to your investing, how it's really changed your life, how it's changed your, you know, your nest egg and everything else. So, you know, I don't know if the rest of the group really understands how important it is to you guys, but I appreciate you guys, you know, spending your time here and joining me to let everyone know about your, you know, your successes and your passion and everything else. So, guys, thanks a lot for joining today. And gang, if you have any questions, you can email me. I'll just drop my email in the chat box again. Systematicinvestors@gmail.com. That's a good one. Or Dave at systematicinvestors.com. Or you can use the contact form at www.systematicinvestors.com, And you can see the link there to sign up if you want to do that. So gang, again, thanks. If you have any questions, like I said, email me. And with that being said, I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to shut down the room as well. Thanks, gang.